This week on Weekend Popcorn, it's been a minute. We will have basically all of April. We have a lot to get to. Let's jump right into it. Hi, everyone. It's me, Grant, the movie and TV guy. Welcome to the fourth episode, the very much delayed fourth episode. It's really the fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh episode, if you will, kind of mashed together. For those who didn't know, I came down with a pretty big upper respiratory issue earlier this month. I caught a bug. It basically was in my system for a whole month. And if you watch my out of theater reactions, which I started in earnest at the start of April, you can kind of slowly see me progress from getting sick to kind of being able to be audible again to kind of being okay again. But by the time we got to this point, I was just like, you know what? April's almost over. We're gonna jump right into the summer movie season after this. So why don't we just do an episode that basically covers all of April? We're gonna talk about a bunch of movies today. And then we're gonna have no guests again, but next week, hopefully, we only have a handful of movies. It's actually gonna be a pretty slow week. So we should have some guests. We're going to try to line up some guests for the first show of the summer season. But anyway, that being said, welcome everyone to Weekend Popcorn. We have a lot to cover and not a ton of time to do it, so let's just jump right into it. With our first film. And also, any comments you want to leave, go in the live chat. If you've seen these movies, tell me what you thought. Tell me what you think of the format, whatever you want to do. And if you're, unless you say something, horrible or bigoted, especially towards somebody else, you should make it on the show. So yeah, definitely come in, call in, and yeah. Welcome to, we got a lot of movies to cover. Big movies to cover. There's been a couple movies that have really lit the box office on fire this month that I've seen now. So yeah, we will talk about it. So, how many movies do we have? I think we have like 38 films to talk about this week. We have a lot of freaking movies to talk about this week. So yeah, let's begin with the first movie I saw in April, and the first movie I saw after the last movie on last week's show, and that is Screamboat. Screamboat. This is directed by Stephen LaMorte. And this is, in case you didn't know, this is yet another, I'm going to call it Mickey-sploitation movie, because that's basically what it is. It is, Steamboat Willie is in the public domain, and so people are taking advantage. This played for a week, I think only like a week. It was like a 1-week engagement. I think it's now on streaming services. And what is the film about? Well, a late-night boat ride turns into a desperate fight for survival in New York City when a mischievous mouse becomes a monstrous reality. That mouse basically is Mickey Mouse, to a certain extent, or Willie, as you would say. Played here quite perfectly by the great David Howard Thornton, who I'm going to be lucky enough to meet in October. I'm looking forward to it. Hey David, big fan. Okay. So Screamboat. I liked it. I actually quite liked it. Here's the thing. Is this any kind of is this a masterpiece? No, not at all. And this whole movie might as well be get it like Disney. I'll give you some examples of what I mean. So a lot of this movie, okay, like these are some of the lines that are said in this movie, because there's also these party girls that are sort of dressed like the Disney princesses. So these are some of the lines. I want to go let's go where the people are. Get it? Get it? Because it's Disney. What the fuck is that? I don't know, dude. It's a small world after all. Get it? Get it? Because it's Disney. A scream is a wish your heart makes. Get it? Get it? What are you, like, why are you doing this? It's like, you're mad. We're all mad here. Get it? Get it? Now, anyway, that's just a few examples. The worst, A girl goes down on a guy at one point and says, can you feel the love tonight? Get it? Get it? Okay. Look, Escape from Tomorrow created the blueprint for a movie like Screamboat. This movie is a C-plus movie that is elevated kind of barely to a B by one major factor. David Howard Thornton. He is so fucking good in this movie as this demented mouse and it's the kind of movie where you never know what the size Willie is from moment to moment. Sometimes he is smaller, like it's like forced perspective where he is literally looks like he's like Tom Thumb or something, and all the humans around him are like giants. And then in some moments, he's as big as them. In other moments, he's clearly a puppet that's like walking along the rafters. It is the epitome of a low-budget movie, and yet there is sort of a charm to this movie. It has a sense of humor, and unlike like The Mousetrap, there is a sense of exploiting the hell out of the idea. If you don't mind some cheese and blood with your popcorn, Screamboat's fun, and it's okay on its own. It's made enjoyable by its leading monster. I think David Howard Thornton makes that movie enough for me to not go all the way, but just barely walk 2 blocks, like the skin of its teeth. I'm going to give Screamboat 4 stars out of 5, just because I really do think it's made by people who are actually trying within their limitations to make a movie. Like Damien Leone is one of the producers of this film. Now, this isn't even close to being as good as the Terrifier films, especially the Terrifier sequels. But it has some of that same sort of spirit to it. It's also unrated. So it has sort of that same spirit to it. It's not quite as good as that, but it has a little enough of that element to make it worthwhile. So yeah, Screamboat, it's fun. Go see it, or in this case, probably rent it, or wait till it's on Tubi. So yeah, Screamboat. Yeah, let's close the book on that one. Trailer Trash None. The movie just kind of started. Was there shawarma? Remember, it's been a month. Yes, there was something during the credits, I believe, now that I think about it. So yeah. Okay. That's Screamboat. Now, next movie. A Minecraft movie. I've now seen this film twice. A Minecraft movie. A little indie film. It's done pretty okay at the box office, I'd say. Let's just say it maybe kind of blew the roof off, quite literally. Live chickens and all. Chicken jockey. A Minecraft movie. So yeah, that's what we're going to next. A Minecraft movie is directed by Jared Hess, a filmmaker that is just, even his bad movies, I love. I can't help but love the guy. To me, his style will always apply to Napoleon Dynamite, and I'm tied to that. So yeah, he did Napoleon Dynamite, Nacho Libre, Gentlemen Broncos, which I actually think is a little underrated. Don Verdeen, more recently, Thelma the Unicorn, Oscar nominated for the short film 95 Senses, which he co-directed. So now he's doing the Minecraft movie, or a Minecraft movie, rather. A Minecraft movie. What is it about? 4 misfits find themselves struggling with ordinary problems when they're suddenly pulled through a mysterious portal into the Overworld, a bizarre cubic wonderland that thrives on imagination. To get back home, they'll have to master this world while embarking on a magical quest with an unexpected expert crafter, Steve. Yep, just about. So, I loved a Minecraft movie. Let me put it to you this way. For what this movie is going for, which is to be a Minecraft movie, I can't really imagine it being much better than this. I kind of had a blast with a Minecraft movie, and I kind of liked it even more the second time. This movie is very funny, I think. Jack Black, who plays Steve in this film, has not been had really this much Jack Black kind of fun since Jumanji, maybe since Nacho Libre. And Jason Momoa is a lot of fun playing this guy who's sort of a washed up. He almost feels like one of like the main characters in the movie Pixels, if it was like actually better done. Like he basically, his only thing in life was he was a champion of like a Atari tournament in the late 80s, and he's kind of rode that wave to making this sort of retro shop, and he kind of becomes sort of like a father figure, like an uncle figure to this kid who his parents have died, and is living with his sister, played by Emma Myers, who's sort of his guardian. And all these characters kind of work. The one thing I'll say that of the cast that I think is wasted, and it's a shame because she's phenomenal, is what's her name? Man, I forgot her last name. I know her first name is Danielle. She was in The Color Purple remake. It was fantastic. Oscar nominated for that, deservedly so. What's that actress's name? Danielle Brooks. She's good in the movie. She has fun in the movie. She's not in it as much as you think, and she has like the least reason to be there. Like she kind of is there because she just happens to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. Whereas everybody else, like there is sort of a specific purpose for why they're there, which is a shame because I think Danielle Brooks is really good. There's also a really funny subplot with an even funnier payoff involving Jennifer Coolidge, who forms this weird. He's the school principal and is very much a Jared Hess type of character, who sort of forms like an unlikely romance with one of the villagers, who's a CGI creation. Very, very funny. Very, very funny, and with some nice little jokes for the adults in the audience that hopefully will fly over most of the kids' heads. Some of them aren't even subtle. I loved a Minecraft movie. I really enjoyed it. Is it a masterpiece? No. Is it going to be one of the best films of the year? Nah, not even close. But for what it is, for a Minecraft movie, I'd watch this again easily. I had a really good time. So yeah, a Minecraft movie. I'm not going to quite go all the way with it, but I'm going to go pretty far, y'all. I'm going to give a Minecraft movie 4.5 out of 5 stars. I'm going to go kind of higher than most. I enjoyed this flick. Sue me, I had fun. There you go. And yes, it's kind of a stupid movie, but it kind of knows it's a stupid movie, which I respect. All right. That is a Minecraft movie. 4.5 out of 5 stars. Let's close the book on it. Trailer trash. Let's talk some trailer trash. Karate Kid Legends. Talked about it. Looks good. Smurfs. Talked about it. Jurassic World Rebirth. Talked about it. Looks good. The Fantastic Four First Steps. Talked about it. Looks good. Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. Talked about it. Looks good. I got my ticket. We're going into that in a couple weeks. Few weeks, mind you. How to Train Your Dragon. Talked about it. Looks okay. Unnecessary. Superman. Talked about it. Looks good. And was there shawarma? Yes, during and after the credits. So stick around. All right. Next movie. And now for something totally the same as a Minecraft movie. The Friend. Well, they both have a dog. Does that count? Except one of them is, in this one, it's a real dog and not like a cubic CGI dog, but whatever. The Friend is directed by Scott McGehee and David Siegel. They previously did films like Montana Story, The Deep End. There was one other one I remember. Good team, good filmmakers. Scott McGehee and David Siegel. What else did they make? What Maisie Knew, that was good. Maybe that's it. Okay. Well, they made some good movies. And this is one of them. So what is The Friend about? Well, all right. Writer and teacher Iris finds her comfortable, solitary New York life thrown into disarray after her closest friend and mentor bequeaths her his beloved 150-pound Great Dane. The regal yet intractable beast, named Apollo, immediately creates practical problems for Iris, from furniture destruction to eviction notices, as well as more existential ones. Yet as Iris finds herself unexpectedly bonding with Apollo, she begins to come to terms with her past and her own creative inner life in this story of healing love and friendship. That makes this sound like a Disney movie. It is far from that. Okay. There's going to be a few movies on this list that are like shoo-ins for the best films of the year at this point in time. The Friend is one of them. I loved this movie. I think I adored this movie, and it's not going to be for everyone, because if you're going in thinking this is some cutesy dog movie, it is 100% not that. It's an indie movie with a dog, and it's a movie about grief and suicidal ideation and sort of dealing with the problems of your life and the lives of the people around you. If one of the three main characters was a dog, it's an R-rated film. It's a film for adults. It is made by adults for adults. I loved The Friend. I thought this movie was so moving, so funny when it needed to be, sweet when it needed to be. Naomi Watts, who is the lead here, is great. Bill Murray, though not in the movie a lot, is quite good as one of the titular friends, who the original owner of the dog. And then the dog. I want to credit the dog. This is a dog, an actual Great Dane dog named Bing, who I now follow on Instagram. And so does my dog. I also have a Great Dane. And I know that makes me sound biased, but it's not. This is one of the best animal performances I've seen in a long time. This dog it sucks that the closest thing we get to like a real prize in the film industry for animals is like the Palm Dog. Because, my God, there should be an Oscar category for animals. I'm sorry, this is long overdue. It's too late outside of an honorary to give it to Uggy for his amazing performance in The Artist, because he's no longer with us. There should be like a best dog actor category on rare occasions. That's like an honorary. Think of it like the Governor's Awards. Just give it a... Bing deserves that award. He's fantastic. This dog is a fantastic actor. Really, really great as this dog. And there's a moment, but it's not the thrust of the movie. There's a moment that happens here, featuring a cameo by filmmaker and occasional actor Tom McCarthy, where she's sort of doing like a therapy session, and there's a moment where she sort of... Imagine she's talking to Bill Murray, who has died, and is basically telling him how much he broke her heart by dying the way he did. I don't think... This is not a spoiler. He committed suicide. The scene is beautiful. It's real. It's raw. It's some of the best acting that Naomi Watts and Bill Murray have ever done, and they're terrific actors, they've ever done. And it is... And the thing that's shitty about it is no one saw this movie. When I saw this movie, I saw it pretty late at night, the night I saw it. I saw it the same night I saw a Minecraft movie, I believe. 2 people. Me and 2 other people. Only ones in the theater. That's a shame, because this movie was... It was never going to be a mainstream hit, but by God, at least something, you know? I love The Friend. This is one of the best films so far this year. It is one of the most underrated films so far this year. Speaking of, we have another one coming up right after this. But yeah, The Friend, fantastic. I'm going to give it one of these. Yeah, you see it. Bang. 5 out of 5 stars plus. Go see, or in this case, probably stream The Friend. It's fantastic. Okay. Okay. Speaking of underrated movies that will probably make my best of list, or at least get mentioned on it, Freaky Tales. Freaky Tales is directed by Anna Boden and Ryan Fleck. This is their latest film. They previously did Half Nelson, Sugar, and a little indie film called Captain Marvel. Uh, so yeah, they go back to their indie roots here, kind of, with a little bit of assistance from their more popcorn-centric roots. Yeah. So, what is Freaky Tales about? Well, in 1987, Oakland, a mysterious force guides the town's underdogs in four interconnected tales, including teen punks defend their turf against Nazi skinheads, a rap duo battles for hip hop immortality, a weary henchman gets a shot at redemption, and an NBA All Star settles the score. Yeah. Okay. If you're thinking, ooh, Pulp Fiction, or ooh, Creepshow, without maybe the horror element, you're absolutely right. And you know what? I saw Freaky Tales. That's another film I saw twice. It was only in theaters, at least in my area, for a week. I saw it twice. I saw it once with one friend. My other buddy Ryan was on a trip that weekend. I said, Ryan, this movie's gonna be out of the goddamn theater by Thursday. We got to go see this again. I took him, and both times I loved it, and both times the person I saw it with loved it. This movie, this is the kind of movie that if this came out in the early 2000s, I would see. This is the kind of movie you would totally rent from Blockbuster. This is a fucking cult movie in the making. I want Freaky Tales is one of those movies I call the dorm room movies, where it's like you go to your buddy's house who has a dorm room, and he says, "Hey, check out this freaky movie that my buddy rented the other night from Blockbuster," and you watch it, and it becomes your personality. Freaky Tales is one of those movies. I really do think it's great. Pedro Pascal, there's some notable names. Pedro Pascal, Jay Ellis, Ben Mendelsohn. There's one notable name that I will refuse to name because it is one of the best cameos I've ever seen in a movie. Yes, I said it. Look out for the video store clerk in the Pedro Pascal segment. That is all I will say. You will know immediately who it is. And it's one of the best movie scenes I've seen all year. It's fantastic, and I loved it. And it's perfect. This movie's very funny. It's intense. There's great action sequences. Clearly an homage to things like The Warriors and Kill Bill here. There's a lot of, Enter the Dragon in this guy, including all the way down to having an Enter Dragon poster in the background. There is, a lot of stuff. There's a little bit of a sci-fi element. This movie, there's a little bit of like a Scientology sort of cabal underpinning all of this. I love this movie. I think this movie is wild and fun, and it's just a great time, and with a great script, and it's one of the few anthologies where I think every segment really has its merit. There really isn't a weak link in the bunch. I think they all kind of go together in this really great mosaic of this time in this place, and with, fantastical underpinnings. I love Freaky Tales. It's fantastic. And I'm also going to give Freaky Tales one of these. Yeah, you see it. Bang. 5 out of 5 stars plus for this one, too. I absolutely love Freaky Tales. This is the kind of movie you want to... This is the kind of movie where, they make now some studios or some select filmmakers are intentionally doing, like, limited time VHS copies of their movies. Like, I think that Vera Drew did one for The People's Joker where you can actually buy a VHS copy of it. Boden and Fleck, if you're watching this, which I don't think you are, but if you are, try to see if you can get this one on VHS. I'd actually buy this movie on VHS. Yeah. Love this movie. Love Freaky Tales. It's fantastic. All right. Really great movie. All right. Trailer trash for Freaky Tales. Oh, fuck. You know what? I forgot the friend. I am so sorry. I was momentarily confused, my good people. So we're going to do now the trailer trash for and the shawarma for The Friend and for Freaky Tales. I completely messed up the order. I apologize. This is live, people. What are you going to do? Come on now. Way down we go. Hold up. Okay. The Friend. Karate Kid Legends. Talked about it, looks good. Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. Talked about it, looks good. Thunderbolts. Talked about it, looks good. We're going to talk about it next week. The Surfer. Talked about it, looks good. We're also going to talk about it next week. Drop. Talked about it, looks good. Sacramento. Talked about it, looks good. The Wedding Banquet. Talked about it, looks good. Both Drop and The Wedding Banquet we'll be talking about later in this episode. And then Freaky Tales. The Ballad of Lost Island. Talked about it, looks good. 28 Years Later. Talked about it, looks good. Thunderbolts. Talked about it, looks good. Drop. Talked about it, looks good. We will be reviewing it later. Sinners. Talked about it, looks good. Also reviewing it later. Hurry Up Tomorrow. Talked about it, looks good. And Shadow Force. Talked about it, looks good. And was there shawarma yet? For both. The Friend? No, there wasn't. As for Freaky Tales, yes, there is quite a bit of stuff during the credits. There's nothing after. All right. Now we are moving on. Moving on to our next film, which is Hell of a Summer. Hell of a Summer, which I saw the same day as Freaky Tales with the same friend, is directed by Finn Wolfhard and Billy Brick. They're two Canadian actors. Billy Brick has been in quite a few stuff. I recognized his face, but I don't remember what else I saw him in. Finn Wolfhard, of course, is pretty well known. I mean, he's Mike from Stranger Things. They're also both in this film. This is their feature directorial debut. What is Hell of a Summer about? Okay. When 24-year-old Jason Hochberg arrives for counselor weekend at his beloved Camp Pineway, his biggest problem is feeling out of touch with his teenage coworkers. Little does he know, a mass killer has murdered camp owners John and Kathy and is preparing to strike again. Yep. It's a slasher homage. It's a slasher comedy homage set at summer camp. And it's perfectly fine. We're not going to talk about this one for too long. I liked it. I liked it, moderately liked it. I wanted to love it. I was honestly, Hell of a Summer was a little disappointing for me, I'm not going to lie. I went into this kind of excited. I liked the trailer, I thought it was funny. This is a case where almost every good joke is in the trailer. And there's a few left over, but not nearly enough. It's a lark. It's perfectly fun. It's short. It's 88 minutes long. I like Fred Hetchinger. He's a good actor. The few genuine laughs I got were here. It's fine. That's all I can really say about it. It's fine. It works. It's sufficient. It's funny when it needs to be. Let me put it to you this way. There's a much better teen slasher homage we're going to be reviewing today that actually has an opinion of the tropes that it's using and taking down, that is also a Canadian film, partly, that does this a lot better. That being said, I enjoyed it fine. I'm going to recommend it kind of barely. I'm going to give it a matinee. I'll give Hell of a Summer 3.5 stars. Just because I find myself remembering less about it the further away I get from it. Every second I have been from watching that movie, the less I remember it. So yeah. But I will say this. Finn Wolfhard and Billy Brick are not bad filmmakers. Visually, I think that they have potential. I think this is a proof of concept movie for what their next film. And I believe their next film is they're going to do a remake of Idle Hands, which, okay. I look forward to seeing what you do with it. I actually kind of like the original. So, all right, let's do it. As for Hell of a Summer, it's fine. 3.5 stars. It's okay. Yeah. It's decent. Nothing more, nothing less. It's whatever. It's fine. I wanted more, but it was fine. Take a shot every time Grant says it's fine, and you'll die of alcohol poisoning. Okay. Damn. Okay. All right. Trailer trash. Let's talk some trailer trash. The Ballad of Wallace Island. Talked about it. Looks good. Cheech and Chong's last movie. Talked about it. Looks good. We will be talking about it later in this episode. Until Dawn. Talked about it. Looks good. Ditto. We'll also be talking about that later in this episode. Drop. Later in this episode. Sinners. Later in this episode. The Life of Chuck. Talked about it. Looks good. And Together. Talked about it. Looks good. And was there shawarma? No, there was not. All right. Moving on. Next movie. Next movie is 17, right here, World Tour in cinemas. This was a concert film. It was directed by Oh Yun Dong. And it is the band 17, of course. We reviewed another one of their concerts. I think the one from last year, I think. What is the film about? Experience the unforgettable moments of 17 right here World Tour on the big screen, starting with the electrifying kickoff concert in Guiyang. From the special concert version of Fear to exclusive live performances of Love, Money, Fame featuring DJ Khaled. DJ Khaled! Another one. And Ash, the full set list. Available only at the concert. Will be screened in its entirety. Get ready to be immersed in the dynamic charm of 17's three iconic units. Hip-hop unit, performance unit, and vocal unit. As well as a thrilling relay of their biggest title tracks showcasing 17's A to Z. So, it's a concert film. I liked it. I'm kind of running out of things to say about these K-pop movies, though. This is going to be another one we can kind of breeze through. It's a K-pop movie. They all kind of run together at a certain point. I think that there are some that stand out. I really liked, for instance, I really loved the Blackpink movie from last year. I thought that was really, really fun. This one is fine. It's decent. It's not one of the best ones. It's not one of the worst ones. It's a little too long. It's like 2 hours 12. It doesn't need to be. And as much as people like that Nice song that they do, that I know that's a joke at their concerts, that they make it go for like 15 minutes where they keep faking that the encore's over and then doing that bit again. It gets a little... This time it got a little tiring after about the first 5 minutes of it. That being said, I enjoyed it. It was a nice crowd for this one. It was fine. I'd give it, again, pretty standard score with the K-pop movies. It's worth seeing. It's worth walking 2 blocks for. I'll give it a 4 out of 5. It is a movie that is definitely worth checking out. Yeah. Trailer trash, none. Was there shawarma? Yes, there was. There was some, like, footage at the end. During, rather. Yeah. It's a K-pop movie. What do you want me to say? It's a K-pop movie. It's films like this that are one of the reasons I've decided to do this weekly format, because some movies, some movies just don't require a 10-minute long review for. And this is one of them. And there's going to be a couple of them on this week's show. Some of them require more thought and talking. Some of them just don't. And this is one of them that just doesn't. Speaking of a movie that does deserve more talking about, The Amateur. The Amateur is the next film on our list for this week's episode on the roster. And The Amateur is directed by James House, who previously directed a film I loved from last year called One Life. It had Anthony Hopkins in it. What is The Amateur about? It is also based on a novel, which was previously adapted to a film in 1981. I have not seen the original film, or read the book, so this is my introduction to this story. What is it about? What is The Amateur about? Well, after his life is turned upside down, when his wife is killed in a London terrorist attack, a brilliant but introverted CIA decoder takes matters into his own hands when his supervisors refuse to take action. Yeah. That analyst is played by Rami Malek, who's terrific. And this movie came out. I saw it before there was any kind of critical analysis. I got to go to an early screening of it. That's why it's so early on in this episode. It's not later on when it was closer to its release. I'm going in the order in which I saw these films, pretty much. People were kind of lukewarm on it. Didn't do great at the box office. The critics were not much nicer to it. Then that's a shame because I kind of love The Amateur. It's another one I've seen twice now. I loved this movie. And what I loved about this movie is that it's not an action movie. It has the spirit of something like a movie from the 1970s. Something like A Falcon and the Snowman, or something of that nature. James House directs it really well. I love the fact that it's really more about brains, and it's more about, like, know-how than brawn. And some people ask me, like, well, what is wrong with you? Do you want your movie to have action in it? It's like, no, that's not it at all. But I love a good action movie, but there's something about a movie that is more about character development and more about know-how than it is about... It's more about what you can accomplish than who you can shoot and blow up. I like those too. And I like movies like The Amateur, and I feel like they are sort of dying on the vine. And I kind of wanted more people to get behind this one, because I think that it actually is really good. I think Rami Malek is really good. I think Rachel Brosnahan, though she's not in the movie very much at all, is really good. Lawrence Fishburne is really good. I'll say this, it's the better of the two Lawrence Fishburne movies I'm reviewing on this show. There's your hint. What's his name? Holt McCallany, really, really good here, playing a douchebag like he's done so brilliantly in other movies, particularly The Iron Claw. John Bernthal coming in for 5 minutes probably during downtime while he was doing both Daredevil and a movie that's also on this week's show, The Accountant 2. It's really, really good. And Katrina Balfe as well from Outlander. It's really good. I really liked it. I liked it a lot, actually. I'm gonna give it one of these. I'm sorry, guys. I love this movie. Yeah, bang, 5 out of 5 stars plus. This movie, it feels like the last gasp of a dying genre, and it's kind of a bummer because I really, really think that more movies, especially that are as good as this one, need to be made with these kind of genre elements. Yeah. So yeah, 5 out of 5 stars plus for The Amateur. Let's close the book on it. Trailer trash. None, surprisingly. The early screening of the movie just started. Was there shawarma? No, there was not. All right. Moving on. The Chosen. Last Supper, Part 2. Part 3 will be reviewed later on this show as well. We reviewed Part 1 in the previous episode, way back at the end of March. Yeah, it's directed by Dallas Jenkins. And what is the film about? As Jesus speaks to a massive crowd, the religious leaders attempt to trap him in his own words. Afraid of public outcry and further embarrassment, Caiaphas resolves to arrest Jesus quietly at night. Only one problem. No one knows how to find him, but they may know someone who can help. I brought you some murder. Judas. Okay. So, long story short, I think The Chosen is really good. I think that this is basically episodes 3 through 5 of season 5 of The Chosen, and it's under this umbrella. The first part was 1 and 2, the first and second episode. The next part is the last 3 episodes. I really like The Chosen a lot. Season 5 was the weakest season. And I feel like, and I think we'll talk about this a little more when we get to part 3 later on. This one, I think, the best episodes of this season arguably are probably in this part. That being said, I do think that this season's framing device is kind of its own worst enemy, which is this idea of doing the Last Supper scenes as sort of building the build-up to the Last Supper through flashbacks. Like we're essentially starting each episode with a flash forward to the Last Supper sequences, and then we go back and show like Holy Week and all the stuff that led up to the Last Supper. And I just feel like one moment, un momento. There's my fan. I have a fan. I deserve to have at least one of them. Ba-bang. At least I have one of them. Ba-bang. It's essentially, if it wasn't for Jonathan Romming, I feel like this season would drag a lot more than it does. I think that when Jesus is on screen and the Chosen themselves, my biggest issue with the pacing of the season is there's way too much of the palace intrigue stuff, and that has never been my favorite thing about the Chosen. I don't really care what Pontius is doing. I really could care less. Like, he needs to be on the outskirts. It's fine. It works. But I do think this is probably the weakest season, but it's still good. And I still think, by the standards of this type of storytelling, The Chosen is cream of the crop. I'm going to give this one the same score I gave part 1. I'm going to give The Chosen Last Supper part 2 4.5 out of 5 stars, because I do think that the goodness of the work everybody does, and it is a cinematic show, sort of makes all of this kind of work better than it probably should. So yeah. We will again get more into my bigger issues when we get to part 3, because that one I think is the weakest one. It's also the longest one. So we'll get to that in just a bit. But for this one, this part, 4.5 out of 5 stars. Trailer trash done. It was a Fathom event. Was there shawarma? No, there was not. All right, moving on. Un momento. Okay. Man, we still have so much to do. Okay. We're going to take just a quick break. I apologize. While I sort of stretch. Okay? Give me un momento. Hey guys, sorry. I had to move the operation a little bit. Hope you all didn't leave. All right, moving on. Drop. Drop is directed by Christopher Landon. What is the film about? Violet, a widowed mother on her first date in years, arrives at an upscale restaurant where she is relieved that her date, Henry, is more charming and handsome than she expected. But their chemistry begins to curdle as Violet begins being irritated and then terrorized by a series of anonymous drops to her phone. Uh, yeah. So, un momento. I'm sorry. Jesus Christ. Hi. Hang in there, baby. So, thank you all for your patience. I'm really sorry. we have animals here and craziness. I started feeling tingling in my feet, so I just said I'm going to move the operation. Sorry about that. So yeah, that is the plot of Drop. Um, I've seen this movie twice too. I love this movie. I thought this was fantastic. I was lucky enough, and this is luckily, no, this is not the reason. I was lucky enough to be invited to a critic screening of this movie. And I really loved it. And I Christopher Landon is one of those filmmakers that I really, really like what he does with genre movies. And this film, look, it doesn't hold up, I guess, to a lot of logical scrutiny, but as just entertainment, I was completely absorbed in this story. The way that they do all the stuff with it's a first date, but then the bad guy's given the drops and sort of toying with them, and they seem to be omnipresent. They seem to know where uh, this woman Violet is going to be, played by Megan Fahey, who was in a movie I really hated, as a lot of people know, The Unbreakable Boy. Great here, and it's just a really good thriller. Like Hitchcock would have really liked this thriller. Brendan Sklenar, who I'm developing a bit of a man crush on, not gonna lie, really really charming, really really good, and overall it's just a really good thriller. It delivers what it says on the tin and more so. But it's not just, ooh, how clever, look at all these twists. There's substance here. There's genuine depth to this story. And I really like that about it. It has more on its mind than you might expect. Yeah, I loved Drop. There's another one that I'm going to give one of these to. Yeah, you see it, bang. 5 out of 5 stars. Plus, this is one of the best films of its type this year. Genre films, definitely check out Drop. It's really good. It's still out in most places. Yeah, definitely check out Drop. Trailer trash, none. Again, because I was at an early screening for it. Was there shawarma? No, there was not. All right. Next movie, Jack. Jack is directed by Bhaskar. This is the latest Indian cinema film. What is Jack? One of the latest Indian cinema films. We have a few of this week. An unconventional anti terrorist operative must defy his bosses in order to foil a devastating attack on his nation. This movie was fun. This was a really fun film. It stars Sidhu Jana Lagada. I hope I am saying that correctly. I'm so sorry. Uh, it's rough around the edges. Some of it looked a little unfinished, I'm not going to lie. The action scenes are really fun. The lead character is really fun. It's not a perfect movie, but it has a certain style and energy to it. I like the editing choices. It very much falls into that sort of Indian cinema aesthetic of bigger, bigger, bigger. And yet, weirdly enough, the next film we're going to talk about is also an Indian film that I think does it even a little better. But this is a good, really good film. Really enjoyed Jack. It was fun. I saw it with Ryan. We had a good time. I'm going to give it 4.5 out of 5 stars. This is a fun, solid movie. It's not going to light the world on fire, but it's a lot of fun. Definitely check out Jack. Really good flick. So, Jack. Trailer trash for that one. Let's see. And again, sorry for all the technical difficulties. We're still working out the format, so bear with me. Bear with me. Okay, almost there. Hell. Oh, and also I forgot. The Chosen Last Ever Part 2, there was one trailer. There was Light of the World. My apologies. It shouldn't be there. Why is that there? Okay, we had two trailers to check. Pedi, this is the latest from Ram Charan. An Indian cinema reel. Preview of upcoming Indian cinema releases. That's it for trailer trash. Was there shawarma? Yeah, during the credits there was. I believe so. If I remember correctly, yes, there was. Yeah, at least in the U.S. version. I don't know about in other territories. All right, next movie. Actually, the next two Indian cinema movies are kind of on top of each other. We saw them all on the same day. Good, Bad, Ugly. Not to be confused with the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Good, Bad, Ugly is directed by Adhik Ravichandran. I hope I am saying that correctly. I apologize in advance if I'm not. I probably butchered that. What is Good, Bad, Ugly about? AK, a powerful gangster, surrenders to the police in hopes that his wife and son will live a peaceful life. When he is released 17 years later, he learns that his son is falsely accused of serious crimes. To protect him, he is forced to go back to his old ways, facing enemies both old and new. And in the case, AK, also known as Red Dragon, is indeed played by legendary Indian actor, fresh off his work in Vida Muyarchi, which we talked about in a previous episode, which I quite enjoyed. Ajith Kumar. Yeah, Ajith Kumar, AK himself. That's what he's known as. And one of the best Indian cinema movies I've ever seen. I loved Good, Bad, Ugly. In fact, I'll say this. This movie is in that prime league with movies like action movies from this country, like Pushpa 2 The Rule and Triple R, in the sense of just delivering fully on what you want from an Indian action film. This movie is inventive, it's exciting, it's intense, it's funny, it has swagger to it. There's characters that you actually care about, that you root for. It's a great father-son story. It's a redemption story. In a very strange way, it is kind of tied loosely to an American franchise. That's all I will say. There's a nice little tip of the hat to American action cinema that may or may not be legit. I don't know. Maybe. But very, very fun. Really exciting. You want more. It sets up more. You want a sequel to this movie. Love this movie. Love AK. This is a super fun flick. A Good, Bad, Ugly. One of the best Indian films so far this year. And I'm going to give it one of these. Yeah, you see it. Bang. 5 out of 5 stars plus. For Good, Bad, Ugly. Trailer Trash. Indian cinema reel. That is all we have for Trailer Trash. Was there shawarma? Yes, I believe so. Yes, I think so. At least during the credits. All right. Again, this has been almost a month, guys. Bear with me. Now, on the other hand, Indian cinema giveth and Indian cinema taketh away. It's Angry Grant time, everybody. Jat is directed by Gopichand Malaneni. I'm sorry again. I apologize if I got that wrong. After a ruffian accidentally ruins his meal, a traveler retorts violently and demands an apology. Unintentionally finding himself in a web of violence, crime, and corruption spun by a federal criminal. I don't remember the freaking messing up the meal part. Are we sure that's the right plot description? Wait a second. Letterboxd, what are you doing? Let's see what IMDb has to say. That seems like a very, very big reach to call that the plot description of this movie. Yeah, I think somebody was shitposting. That's not the real thing. Okay. A fictional town played by Justice and Brutality, Bharathi remarks that even God fears to set foot in this Lanka. Entering a land overrun with black money and corpses, Jad arrives with intent to restore justice and save the villagers. Not much better, but at least it gives you a better idea what the movie is, kind of. I hated this movie. There are a couple of cool sequences in this movie, a couple of cool musical numbers, comes with the territory. There's no fun to this movie. This movie is not enjoyable. And one of the things that makes it really not enjoyable is that it really, really does incendiary things to its female characters without really giving any justification for it. It really is like, it's long and it's dreary. The lead guy, you talk about, okay, the first two movies, like we talked about, they did cinema thing today, Jack and Good, Bad, Ugly. The things that both those movies had going for them, among just the other good qualities of them, their heroes or anti-heroes had charisma. They had something going for them. The villains were interesting. The hero was interesting. There was a sense of swagger and a sense of fun. There's nothing fun about Jat. The whole movie is just terrible things happening to innocent women, and then it's supposed to be all okay in the end because this sentient block of muscle and meat punches and brutalizes the brutalizers. By the time we get halfway through this movie, there's scenes of women, pretty kind of elongated scenes of rape, like 3 or 4 times for no reason. Like, there's no reason to show this stuff. It's just there. There's no thematic purpose for it. There's no artistic purpose for it. There's no motivation behind it. Just watching people squirm without any kind of, without the decency. Like, if this were like a slasher movie or a horror film of some kind, whatever. This is supposed to be an entertainment. This is supposed to be an action thriller. I immediately get turned off when what is essentially meant to just be popcorn fun reduces its female characters to being stripped and, and not earning it. There's no reason for any of this stuff to happen. Like, it's really, really dark subject matter. If you're going to gauge this stuff at all, there's got to be a purpose. There's got to be a purpose. Otherwise, you're just putting the audience and the actresses, quite frankly, through this kind of dark ringer. There's nothing here that needs to be here in that regard. It just feels kind of icky. There's just no real reason for it. But beyond that, the movie also looks ugly. The action scenes are not actually that good. It looks very sloppily, even by the standards. And I know that they're working with low budgets, but even like the editing is kind of all over the place. Things happen sometimes with no real rhyme or reason, just because people will show up places that they weren't. You don't know how they got there. The whole thing is a mess. It's way too long. The movie, even by these movie standards, this movie was the longest of the 3 that day. And it felt the longest. There's just something about this movie. It's just not fun. I hated Jat. I thought it was terrible. Fuck this movie. Like, 0 stars, middle finger of kindness. There was nothing about this movie that I can recommend at all. Even just as a cheesy Indian action movie. Because there's nothing... It's just so bleak. But it's bleak without thematic reasoning or purpose to be bleak. I have no problem. I'm okay with a movie being about the evils of the world and dealing with it and being bleak. But it has to have a purpose. There has to be a reason to put your audience through that stuff. There has to be insight. There's nothing, or even just catharsis of watching the bad guys get what they deserve. There's really none of that here. It's just kind of icky. It was a bummer. So yeah, and a badly made bummer as well. So yeah, Jat, pretty bad. So yeah, trailer trash. Let's talk about it real quick. Petty, talked about it, looks good. Indian Cinema Reel, talked about it, looks good. All right, moving on. Speaking of bummers, it's Angry Grant time again, everybody. And I feel like this is a case where I'm in a small boat, because a lot of people seem to really like this movie. And look, I didn't hate this movie as much as Jat. I'll say that right off the bat. There are elements of this movie I think are actually okay. It's a bummer, though, because I know this group can do better than this. The King of Kings. This is directed by Seong Ho Jang. I believe it's a South Korean American animated production. Cool. The animation's actually not too bad. It is the first animated feature film by Angel Studios, I think. Yeah. And it has a cast that's kind of better than it deserves. What is The King of Kings about? Well, Charles Dickens tells his young son Walter the greatest story ever told. And what begins as a bedtime tale becomes a life-changing journey. Through vivid imagination, the boy walks alongside Jesus, witnessing his miracles, facing his rituals, or facing his trials rather, and understanding his ultimate sacrifice. Capital H-I-S, of course. And by that, I think what the description means is that there's half this movie that's a pretty competently done animated interpretation of the Jesus story from manger to resurrection, pretty much. That is constantly interrupted by one of the worst framing devices I've seen in a movie in years. I'm sorry. The Charles Dickens and his son stuff in this movie, first off, it's a weird choice to begin with. I'm sure this is based on the actual, like, King of Kings, or at least the inspiration for it. I don't know what they were thinking in having... Let me put it this way. Adult animation is a thing for a reason. If you want to just make a straightforward Jesus movie and make it like PG-13, but make it a cartoon, that's fine. Do that. Show it and show like the real struggle that he had to go through. This movie wants to have it both ways. It wants to honor the Jesus story, but at the same time, it doesn't want to lose the interest of the kids in the audience. So it has this annoying little moppet constantly interrupt the movie's flow to cause shenanigans with his dad and the help of his cat. Like, he and his cat cause shenanigans and wackiness, and it's just like that. One of these things is not like the other. These two things don't mesh together very well, and the movie never really finds a way to make the two things mesh well together. So you're stuck with about 3/4 of a really bad, try-hard, obnoxious, never letting a moment happen kids movie, and then about 1/4 of a kind of good enough, not anything like masterful, but a good enough Jesus film. That's about 1/4 of the movie in the grand scheme of things. This movie's about an hour 40. I'd say about maybe. And the thing is, too, is that it covers a lot of ground. This movie's. So, because of these interruptions, key things in the Jesus story are missing that would have been interesting to see animated, that are excised for more shenanigans with the kid and the cat. And that hurts this movie considerably. Is it a disgrace? No. Is it the worst film Even Angel Studios has made? No. Is it good? Also no. Is Grant going to recommend it? No, he won't. I'm going to give The King of Kings 1.5 stars. I'm going to be very nice, because I think that the things that work in this movie work. But sadly, they are superseded by the things that not only don't work, the stuff involving, the stuff involving, let me put it this way, I'm going to even it out. I would give the Jesus stuff 3.5 stars. Maybe close to 4. I'd give the Charles Dickens and his son stuff 0 stars. Evened out, 1.5. There you go. So 1.5 stars for The King of Kings. Critics like it. It has a 70-something% on Rotten Tomatoes. It takes you out of it. That's the thing. It's like, it's not like, oh, well, is it just one small part of the plot? If it was just a small part, that would be fine. It's not. It's like a big... It's like more than half the film is that shtick, which doesn't work at all. Yeah, anyway, 1.5 stars, not great. Trailer the Trash, let's talk about it. Smurfs, talked about it, looks not good. Elio, talked about it, looks good. How to Train Your Dragon, looks unnecessary. Sneaks, we'll get to Sneaks. We will get to Sneaks. Oh boy, will we get to Sneaks. Light of the World, today, we will get to Sneaks. Light of the World, talked about it, looks good. Zero AD. This is one of the new Angel Studios joints. It looks actually kind of interesting, except Sam Worthington's in it, so it'll probably be at least not great when he's on screen. It's about like the days after Jesus's birth when they're still looking for him, but it's like a thriller. That could actually be kind of intriguing if you do it properly. And The Last Rodeo, I talked about it, looks good. Was there shawarma? Yes, there is the typical Angel Studio stuff during the credits. Otherwise, nothing after. Okay. Moving on. Again, my apologies for the cat. Nothing I can do about it. My bad. Now for something, after all that mess, something great. Once more. Warfare. Not the idea, the film. Warfare is directed by Ray Mendoza, and Alex Garland. Mendoza is making his directorial debut. Alex Garland, he's done some movies. He's done some great movies. Ex Machina, Annihilation, more recently Civil War, Men. He also wrote 28 Days Later, Sunshine, among other things. He co-directs this with Ray Mendoza, who is not a filmmaker. He was actually a former soldier. And this is basically his story, loosely, at least as, well, actually, basically the movie establishes it's based on memory. So what is Warfare about? A platoon of American Navy SEALs on a surveillance mission gone wrong in insurgent territory. A boots-on-the-ground story of modern warfare and brotherhood, told in real time and based on the memory of the people who lived it. And it's stressful as hell. Not in a bad way, stressful as hell. In fact, in a most spectacular way. I love this movie. Warfare is one of the best war films I've ever seen. And it's one of the very best films so far this year. This movie is this movie's scarier than most horror films in the way that it's edited, in the way that it's acted. There's not a moment in this movie that feels like you're watching a movie. And there are actors that are recognizable in this film. Completely recognizable. The dude, I can't remember his name. He's also in Hell of a Summer. The dude who played Bear on Reservation Dogs. Got Will Poulter in there. He's also on he was on a movie last week's episode. He's also on a movie later on in this week's episode as well. He's been everywhere lately. Will Poulter, Joseph Quinn, Charles Melton. You forget you're watching actors you recognize. Good actors that you recognize. This movie is... There's not a moment of this movie that feels scripted. This whole movie is done so effectively at putting you in the shoes of these men. It is not jingoistic at all. It is not some Call of Duty cutscene movie at all. It's hell. And you're stuck there with these people. You are in the shit and there is no escape. You feel like you're scared. And I saw this movie in Dolby Atmos. And this movie just, to quote Bob Dylan, it shook my windows and it rattled my walls. I actually felt nervous. I felt a little bit rattled walking out of this movie. If you saw my out of the theater reaction, you could tell that it was kind of short and I was kind of at a loss for words because it kind of blew me away. Like it kind of I couldn't really process it. It was sort of, it was very effective. And it includes also a lot of scenes that you just don't see in war films. Scenes that would be cut out to try to paint more of a pretty picture of the American military industrial complex. None of that here. This is a straightforward, this is the closest thing I think I will ever see outside of maybe All Quiet on the Western Front to an anti-war film, a film that is portraying the violence of combat not as sensationalistic and fun as terrifying. You're confused, it's chaotic, and you don't know if who is shooting, who's injured, and if it's you. And this movie gets that just right. I loved Warfare. This is one of the very best films so far in 2025. I'm giving Warfare one of these. Bang. 5 out of 5 stars plus. This is one of the very best films so far this year. Go see Warfare. It's fantastic. Fantastic movie. All right. Trailer trash now for Warfare. "28 Years Later," talked about it, looks good. From the World of John Wick, Ballerina, talked about it, looks good. Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning, talked about it, looks good. Jurassic World Rebirth, talked about it, looks good. The Phoenician Scheme, the latest from Wes Anderson, talked about it, looks good. Thunderbolts, talked about it, looks good. Bring Her Back, talked about it, looks good. And Friendship, talked about it, looks good. And was there shawarma? No, there was not. Okay, moving on. Our next film. Not Just a Goof. Not Just a Goof is directed by Christopher Nines and Eric Camelton. It is on Disney Plus. It is streaming now. It is a documentary. What is Not Just a Goof about? This is a documentary exploring the untold story of a Goofy movie. Follow a young creative team tackling their first Disney feature, its initial disappointment, and its surprising resurgence decades later. Featuring key interviews and rare footage, this documentary reveals the film's impact and why it remains a beloved classic for a generation, including for this guy. I love a Goofy movie, and I love it because I think it's one of Disney's unsung masterpieces. I love it because of its great soundtrack. I love it for its fun, its great animation, its wonderful story of fathers and sons. I also loved Not Just a Goof for a lot of those same reasons. But that being said, this is no puff piece. What I love about this movie is that it is a real documentary that is really enlightening. It actually is a film about these artists, and it's sort of a tribute to the struggles that animators go through to make these feature films. It's insightful, it's moving, it's sweet, just like the film it's based on. And yes, for you anyway, yes, the best episode of Atlanta kind of did a parody mockumentary about the making of Goofy movie. They acknowledge that in this movie. That is a part of this documentary. And it's also terrific if you haven't seen it. The Goof Who Sat by the Door is named. I believe it's like episode 8 of season 4. Great episode of Atlanta. Well, every episode of Atlanta is a great episode of Atlanta, but like that one in particular, it's one of the best TV shows ever made. I said it. It is. Of all genres, because it is all genres. I love this movie, and I think it also helps too that one of the directors is the nephew of Kevin Lima, who directed the film, a Goofy movie. But it's not just a Nepo baby's love letter to his uncle. This is a film that really deals with the disappointment these people went through, the changing of the guard at Disney. Let me put it this way. If you already had a negative opinion of Michael Eisner, which a lot of people did, it will not be helped by this movie. This is great. This is great. This is actually, for an independent documentary about the subject that seems to not hold a lot of weight for a feature film, it holds a lot, and it's really well made. I love also the sort of reenactments that are done kind of animated in the style of a Goofy movie, where everybody kind of looks like Goofy-esque dogs, including like Jeffrey Katzenberg. Very fun. It's wonderful, and I love a Goofy movie, and I love Not Just a Goof as well. If you love the original film, definitely check this doc out. It's not just some throwaway movie. It's one of the best documentaries so far this year. And I'm going to give Not Just a Goof, again, it's a good episode this week. There's some bad movies, but the good movies are really good this week. There's some of like we're getting into the really good movies this week. So yeah, Not Just a Goof, one of these. Bang, 5 out of 5 stars plus. This is terrific. So yeah, Trailer Trash None, watched on Disney Plus. Was there shawarma? Yes, during and after the credits, so stick around. All right. G20. G20 is directed by Patricia Riggin. It is an Amazon Prime Video film. What is G20 about? After the G20 summit is overtaken by terrorists, President Danielle Sutton must bring all her statecraft and military experience to defend her family and her fellow leaders. This is essentially an action vehicle. Okay, we're gonna make this one nice and sweet. I've already forgotten almost all of this movie. That should give you an indication of what I felt about this. Viola Davis is a national treasure. That is one of the best things about it. There are two things about this movie that are good. Viola Davis is in it. Is number one. Second part of it, Anthony Starr is also in it. That's the second good thing. Everything else about G20 is as generic and I just saw a movie as they come. Viola Davis and Anthony Starr are great, and they do what they can. This movie is a waste of their talents. This is just this is a clone of a clone of a clone. People say it's a Die Hard ripoff. I actually will go one step further. It's a White House Down ripoff. If you want to see this movie actually done kind of fun and underappreciated, go rent White House Down, aka the movie that should have started a franchise, unlike Olympus Has Fallen. Go see that one. Channing Tatum and Jamie Foxx, president and Secret Service agent battling terrorists that overtake the White House, led by James Woods. It's awesome. This movie wants to be that. There's no sense of humor to this movie. There's no sense of drama to this movie. The action sequences are weightless and kind of CGI heavy. It's content. There's nothing about this movie that really feels like a movie. This is... it's like, what was the line that Roger Ebert used to always say about movies that kind of didn't feel like movies? Like another creation from Planet X. That's basically what this movie is. It is a spreadsheet movie. Anthony Anderson is wasted in this. Marseille Martin is kind of wasted in this. There's a lot of good actors that are in this movie. Clark Gregg for like 5 minutes as the vice president. He has nothing to do. Freaking, you can't even get Agent Coulson anything to do in an action. Come on, man. It's Clark. Don't disrespect Clark Gregg like that. He's so underappreciated as like a character actor. This movie, if it wasn't for Viola Davis and Anthony Starr, this movie got the same score King of Kings got, 1.5. It's not going to get that. It's going to get a slight boost to the highest non-recommendation settings I could possibly give. G20, I've already forgotten it, 2 stars. It had 2 actors in it. It was mostly in focus, and it was in color. And that's all I can say about it. 2 stars, G20, not good. Don't bother. Unless you're folding laundry or something and you want something loud to have on in the background. There you go. Trailer Trash, none. Watch it on Prime. Shawarma, no. There was not. Alright. The Chosen Last Supper Part 3. Once again, is directed by Dallas Jenkins. Like Part 1 and Part 2. And this is the conclusion of the 5th season Last Supper arc from The Chosen. And all the plot description says this is the 3rd batch of episodes from season 5, which it is. Essentially, this is where I kind of reached my consensus on this whole season, which is fitting since this is the end of it. This package, which is 3 hours and 15 minutes long, 2 episodes are maybe the 2 worst episodes The Chosen has ever done. They're boring, they're filler, there's nothing about them that's interesting. So why are you still recommending Part 3, Grant? Well, because the season finale, the longest episode and the biggest chunk of this movie, is really good. But it kind of puts it in focus. Here's the thing. First 2 chapters, outside of the cold open, where they do like the Last Supper part, no Jesus. Jonathan Rami is almost nowhere to be found in those first 2 episodes. I think he makes like a little small part in a flashback in the second one for like 2 seconds. A lot of Pontius Pilate, a lot of side characters, not a lot of the main story. The momentum grinds to a halt. Like, it's not simply... It's like if you were to watch... Let me put it to you this way. It's like if you were to watch a compilation of, like, an entire season of Family Ties, and like three episodes in one part of the set is a Tina Yothers focused episode. It's kind of this part of The Chosen Last Supper, and for that reason, it's getting actually a slightly lower score than Part 1 and Part 2. It's getting a 4, and almost all of that 4 is because of the final episode. You have to slog to get there. Those first 2 episodes are rough. I'm telling you. There is... when I feel I'm somebody who can focus on even the worst movie. When I start to feel like I'm gonna fall asleep in a movie, that is really hard to do. The first two episodes of this part, which was episode like 6 and 7, I felt so I felt like, I could nod off right now for a couple minutes and I probably won't miss anything. And I was kind of right because I stayed awake and I didn't really miss anything. It's just kind of not. It's just kind of a dud, and it kind of puts into perspective that this the Chosen's biggest issue that it's always had is it really needs a better editor because there's episodes that are long for kind of no reason other than to be long. They want to include everything, and I think sometimes it's okay to be to listen to that one guy in the boardroom who's like, maybe you can just shave a little bit off of this, just every once in a while, just 10 minutes here, 5 minutes here, maybe a little 2 minutes here, and you'll be golden. This season was kind of hit or miss a lot of the time. And part 3 kind of put that into perspective. It was the longest chunk of episodes in runtime, and it was also the one that felt the least necessary outside of its last act, if you will. So yeah, 4 stars. I think I'm being generous, but to keep with the theme, it is slightly lower than part 1 and part 2. Overall, I'd probably give this, in the long run, this whole season, a 4.5. Maybe a 4. Just I might dock it to a 4 altogether, just for those 2 episodes because they really were kind of bad, like legitimately kind of bad, and just kind of a waste of time. But yeah. Okay, trailer trash. 1 trailer, Light of the World. Nothing else. Was there shawarma? No, there was not. All right, moving on. On Swift Horses. This was directed by Daniel Minahan. It's based on the novel of the same name. And we're almost halfway through this week's episode, everybody. Let's do it. On Swift Horses. Started by Daniel Minahan. Based on the novel. What is On Swift Horses about? In the 1950s, a seemingly sensible newlywed and her wayward brother-in-law undertake parallel journeys of risk, romance, and self-discovery. And it helps also that they're all very attractive. So basically, this is an LGBTQIA love story in a way, and a damn good one. On Swift Horses, basically what it is these sort of parallel storylines. So the brother-in-law is Jacob Elordi, who has gone from being my worst cinematic enemy to being one of my favorite actors, pretty quickly, like within a couple of years, which is impressive. He has something of like a James Dean quality that he brings to this movie. He's very good. Daisy Edgar Jones, who I've liked from the jump. Will Poulter, there he is again. We also got Sasha Callie from the Flash movie. This is, I think, the best thing of the 2 things I've seen her in. This is the best one. As well as Diego Calva, who was more recently in a movie I didn't like, really, called City of Dreams. But his first big movie I loved, we made my best of list, which was Babylon, which was deeply underrated. He's great here as well. And this movie starts good. There isn't much of a narrative here. It's not like a typical. This is a character study, and it's sort of a multi-strand character study. It starts out. It's good. The dialogue feels true to life. The performances are good. Slowly but surely, the movie gets better and better and better. By the end of it, it becomes effervescent. There's something about how this movie ends where you just put the whole rest of the movie in perspective and you're just like, damn, that was good. That was really good. And I get it. I get what you're going for here. And it moved me. And I was so absorbed in this story. Beautifully shot. The cinematography is great. It's not going to be for everybody. It has a pace to it. It's slow. Definitely check out On Swift Horses, though. It's just a terrific film. And also, it's not a mainstream movie. It's very much a small film, but I think that it's definitely worth checking out. It's still in theaters. In fact, it's relative. I think it only came out like last week, so we got to see it a little early. Definitely check out On Swift Horses. Phenomenal film. And I'm gonna give it again. Sorry, one of these. Dang, 5 out of 5 stars plus is another one. I love this movie. Yeah, good movies this week for the most part. Now for something completely different. Pets. Pets is another Disney Plus documentary. It's directed by Bryce Dallas Howard. Yeah, the very same Bryce Dallas Howard. Who, along with directing episodes of some of the Star Wars stuff, also directed a pretty charming documentary a couple years back called Dads. This is kind of in a similar terrain. So what is Pets about? Worldwide stories of human-animal bonds following pet owners and rescuers with dogs, cats, pigs, goats, and birds of prey. Features interviews, archives, and viral clips showing people's connections with their animals. Basically, it's roughly 80 minutes of likable humans and their adorable animals. And you know what? I saw it when I was in a pretty bad place when it came to feeling kind of sick, barely being able to talk. It made my night so much better. This movie was adorable. I really enjoyed Pets. I thought this was a really sweet movie, and I think that some of the stories here are great. I love this guy who was. It shows how animals really do change people's lives. Like there's stories of people who used to be into drugs, people who used to be doing committing crimes, and then they're reformed by these animals, and they kind of help them, and they bring them out into the community, and making changes. This guy who he talks about how he was a rapper, and he's still a rapper, but then he had a rough childhood, and instead of falling into the trap of the rough childhood, he got a cat, and he was close to this cat, and then the cat passed away, and so he spray painted the cat on the back of his car so that the cat he says, this cat always had my back, now he'll always have my back. Like, I choked up because it's like, okay, I know it's trying to make me cry, but you know what? I'm vulnerable. I needed this movie. It made me happy. There's a lot of little interstitials where little kids talk about their pets and what they love about them, and it also shows that sometimes some of the most surprisingly insightful moments can come from the mouths of babes, because these kids talk very existentially about their animals. It's actually kind of surprising how insightful kids can really be. Pets is there's nothing really all that dynamic filmmaking wise about Pets. There's nothing really special about it in regards to filmmaking, storytelling. But for what it is, a family friendly, very short documentary that's mostly just about watching cute animals for a very short period of time, Pets works great. And it's really delightful. And I'm going to give it 4.5 stars because, damn it, I needed it. I'm not going to go all the way. I'm kind of tempted to, but I'm not going to, just because I know objectively it's not on that level. But I needed Pets, and it kind of made my night better when I was feeling like at my worst. So yeah, good film, good film. Next up, The Accountant 2. The Accountant 2 is the sequel to The Accountant. It is directed by Gavin O'Connor, who previously directed The Accountant. He also did Warrior, which was terrific, and also, speaking of Ben Affleck, the very underrated, one of my favorite films that year, The Way Back. If you've not seen that film, really good little sports drama that's more than just a sports drama with Ben Affleck. Really good film. Brings a lot of emotion to that role. So what is The Accountant 2 about? When an old acquaintance is murdered, Christian Wolf is compelled to solve the case. Realizing more extreme measures are necessary, Wolf recruits his estranged and highly lethal brother Brax to help. In partnership with Treasury Agent Mary Beth Medina, they uncover a deadly conspiracy, becoming targets of a ruthless network of killers who will stop at nothing to keep their secrets buried. Okay, the first Accountant movie came out 9 years ago. I saw it in the theaters. I actually saw it with my dad. I was not reviewing movies back then because it was 9 years ago. I didn't start doing this in earnest until about 5 years after this movie came out. So, for those who don't know, I liked The Accountant more than I thought I would. I went into it kind of like, it's Ben Affleck, and autism representation in cinema is not great, and so I was kind of dreading that part too. And it was a fun, flick. I kind of adored The Accountant too. This is how you do a sequel. I really had a ball with this movie. This movie is has more is much more. Not say there's no humor in the first Accountant, but this is really more of a buddy movie. One of the best parts of the first movie was the sort of juxtaposition of Ben Affleck as Christian Wolf, the titular accountant, and Braxton, his brother, played by Jon Bernthal, who is always great in everything. But he's not in the first one that much. In this movie, they're in it a lot together. It is a buddy movie between the two of them. And it's also not always necessarily in a rush to be an action movie. There's moments where it's just brotherly bonding, square dancing, sitting on the roof of the camper, talking about their past and their life and Christian's autism, and it works. And it's Christian doing speed dating and being the accountant that he is, futzing with the algorithm, and much to the chagrin of the organizers of the event. Fun stuff. And it feels like a step up. And after 9 years, I really didn't remember a lot about the first Accountant. I'm going to remember The Accountant too, and I really hope there's a third. Is it a perfect movie? No. I think that when the plot has to become the conspiracy thriller action plot, it strains credibility to a point that even I can't quite make that leap involving a character. The character in the question, the villain ostensibly that they're hunting, is played by Danielle Pineda, who's I like her. But when you find out, let me put it saying, there's a certain reveal involving her character that to say that it's unbelievable is an understatement. It's about up there with it's about as believable as in the Mission Impossible movies, the level that the masks work on people. It's that level of kind of oh, come on. But I also think that it's maybe at 2 hours 15, it's maybe a little too long. That being said, I had a blast with The Accountant too. I actually really liked it. And I'm gonna give it 4.5 out of 5 stars. It's not gonna go all the way with it, but I really had a good time. I really kind of want an Accountant 3. Let's make it happen. Good film. So yeah, The Accountant 2, 4.5 stars. Let's close the book on it. And and I completely forgot. Pets, Trailer Trash Now, watched on Disney Plus. Oh wait, did I remember? Oh, where is my mind today? Hold on a second. I forgot some trailer trashes. My apologies. My brain is not working today. I'm all shook up. Uh-huh. Okay. Let's do these really quick. Trailer trash for On Swift Horses. Shadow Force, talked about it, looks good. The Shrouds, talked about it, looks good. The Accountant 2, we just reviewed it. Jane Austen, Wrecked My Life, talked about it, looks good. Now Pets. Oh, and also, was there Shawarma? No. Trailer trash for Pets. None. Watched on Disney Plus. Was there shawarma? Yes. During the credits, there was extra scenes. The Accountant 2. Trailer trash. Thunderbolts. Talked about it. Looks good. The Life of Chuck. Talked about it. Looks good. Shadow Force. Talked about it. Looks good. The Shrouds. Talked about it. Looks good. Fight or Flight. Oh my god, this looks awesome. We're reviewing it not next week, but the week after. And was there shawarma? No, there was not. Okay. And now we move on. Kaiju number 8, Mission Recon, directed by Tomomi Kamiya and Shigeyuki Miya. This is, I was informed, a film that is basically one of those episode compilations for the anime Kaiju number 8. I have not seen the anime, but I've seen this film. So, in a kaiju-filled Japan, Kafka Hibino works in monster disposal after reuniting with his childhood friend Mina Ashiro, a rising star in the anti-kaiju defense force. He decides to pursue his abandoned dream of joining the force when he suddenly transforms into the powerful Kaiju number 8. An action-packed recap of the first season of Kaiju number 8 and a new original episode Hoshina's Day Off. Basically, I really liked it. Especially the main, I guess it's the extended recap, I guess. I really enjoyed that part of it. The bonus episode I thought was kind of unnecessary. Um, and it's weird how it's structured because basically, like, they do the recap, it has the end credits, there's an episode, like literally, I think it's just a post credit scene, and then he's like, "Oh, you realize, oh, we've been watching this post credit scene for 22 odd minutes." That ends, credits roll. There's a post credit scene to the other episode, so there's like ultimately three, and then after that, there's end credits for the whole thing. So there's three end credit sequences and two post credit scenes to two of those end credit sequences, which is kind of a weird structure. It's fun. The animation is beautiful. Um, it's not anything more than I think just a fun romp, but it's a fun romp. I enjoyed it, and it had some humor. It had some interesting dynamics. It's almost like a really good anime adaptation of Pacific Rim. That's what I like about it. Yeah, good film. I liked it, and it's worth checking out, even if you've never seen the show, because I do think there is something there to it. Um, for those who've not seen the show, but yeah, I'm gonna give Kaiju number 8, Mission Recon, 4.5 out of 5 stars. This is another one in the can. So yeah, 4.5 out of 5 stars. Let's close the book on it. Trailer trash. Let's talk some trailer trash. We're gonna remember this time. Trailer trash. Superman, talked about it, looks good. Thunderbolts, talked about it, looks good. How to Train Your Dragon, talked about it, looks unnecessary. Demon Slayer the movie, Infinity Castle, talked about it, looks good. Karate Kid Legends, talked about it, looks good. Was there shawarma? Yes. Well, which credit sequence? No, in the first two credit sequences, yes, there's shawarma. After that credit sequence, no, there's not any shawarma. But the movie's not over when the first credits roll, so stick around, or even when the second one rolls. Anyway, moving on to our next film. And this is the one that a lot of people are probably excited for. Man, we have so much left to do. Sinners. Sinners is directed by Ryan Coogler. It's his first original film. Well, yeah, I guess original film, because even his first film is based on a real true story. So yeah, this is his first original top to bottom film. Oh wow. Um, and it's, I think, his best film. Sinners. Yeah, Ryan Coogler. Trying to leave their troubled lives behind, twin brothers return to their hometown to start again, only to discover that an even greater evil is waiting to welcome them back. Okay. I've seen great movies. Movies this year that I've loved. It's not every day you see a movie that you think, you know, we're halfway through the decade, and I feel like when that half is done and I do my best films of the decade list, I just have a certain feeling this one's going to be on there. Sinners is one of those movies. I think this movie is a masterpiece. Genuinely a masterpiece. I'm not the first one to say this. This is a true epic. It's scary, it's funny at times, it's moving, it's resonant. It has themes involving racism in the Jim Crow era South, but it's not heavy handed about it. Even though it could easily be and still be effective, it's not. It trusts the audiences to do that. It's a movie about faith and about the corruption of faith, and also about how faith itself can be a corrupting force if used the wrong way. It's a monster movie. It's a, in some extent, both the monster we recognize and the monster from beyond. It's a musical. It's a it's a story about the power of music to literally transcend time and space. In one instance in this film, in I think its most stunning single sequence, quite literally, it is a Depression era adventure movie, crime thriller movie, you know, action film. It's all these things. coming of age story, and it's all put through the filter of amazing filmmaking, amazing script, creepy moments, really effective cinematography and editing. Movies like Sinners are why I love what I do, because they really take you away. You can't look away from the screen. You're so entrenched in this movie. If I'm Still Here didn't come out this year, Sinners would be my favorite film so far in 2025. It'll have to settle for being a very close second, but it is the closest second I can imagine. I loved Sinners. I think it's an absolute masterpiece, and I'm gonna give it one of these. Yeah, you see it. Bang. 5 out of 5 stars plus plus. It's one of the best films of the 21st century so far. Yeah, it's that good. It's that good. There you go. Fantastic movie. All right. Sinners. 5 out of 5 stars plus. Let's close the book on it. Trailer trash. What am I doing? Trailer trash. Together, talked about it looks good. 28 years later, talked about it looks good. Fight or Flight, talked about it looks good. Hurry Up Tomorrow, talked about it looks good. Him, it's a football horror film with Marlon Wayans. It looks really creepy and cool. Jordan Peele's one of the producers. Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning, talked about it looks good. Thunderbolts, talked about it looks good. F1, talked about it looks good. Final Destination: Bloodlines, talked about it looks good. And was there shawarma? Yes. During the credits and after. And the scene during the credits is actually quite long, so it is worth sticking around for. Basically, the movie doesn't end until the lights come all the way up. It is like the endings, the actual conclusion of the movie. Like, it ties the whole film together. So yeah, don't get up. Stay to the very end. So yeah, thumbs up. All right, moving on. Colorful Stage, the movie. A Miku Who Can't Sing. This is directed by Hiroyuki Hata. It's based on the video game of the same name, which I played a little bit of. I don't know much about Hatsune Miku. My audience clearly did. It was packed, and they were really, really, really amped for it. What is the film about? Echika is a high school musician who can enter a mysterious place called Sekai, where she and her friends express their innermost emotions through music alongside Hatsune Miku. One day after giving a live performance, Ichika meets a new Miku that she has never seen before. No matter how hard this new Miku tries to sing, she struggles connecting with the hearts of her listeners. Miku must rely on the help of others to find a way to sing again. High stakes, I know. I found out at the end of this movie that this film is PG. If there was ever a film that more cried out for the G rating, it's this. And I don't mean that as a negative, because I really enjoyed Colorful Stage. Again, as somebody who's a neophyte to this thing, I loved its positivity. This is a good children's film. I mean that in a positive sense. This is so is this movie narratively meaty and as impactful as something like Sinners? No. And that's why it's not getting as high a score as Sinners. But this movie's so wholesome and it's so sweet. The animation is beautiful. The songs are positive. And what it is about how society has become bitter and cynical to the point where even the most innocent things in the world, they just don't want to listen to. And it's about trying to find your voice in a world that seems to want to take it away. And that resonated with me. I thought this was a really sweet story with beautiful animation. Also, fans loved it. But even as someone who's not a big fan or even really knows much about Hatsune Miku, this movie was really sweet. Now, is it perfect? No. I think that sometimes it does struggle to meet a film length. I also think that it's almost 2 hours. It kind of doesn't need to be because the plot is really thin. But as an experience and just as a just warm feeling, good feel good movie, especially for kids, Colorful Stage of the movie is really sweet, really delightful, and worth seeing. And I'll give it 4 stars out of 5. I'm just walk the 2 blocks for it, just for the animation alone. It's not a perfect movie, but it's really sweet, and I really liked it. So there you go. All right, trailer trash, none. That's right, the movie just started. Was there shawarma? Yes. After the credits, there's not only a scene, but there is like after that scene, there's like an extended little short thing. Definitely worth sticking around for. All right, moving on, onwards and upwards. The Wedding Banquet. The Wedding Banquet is directed by Andrew Ahn, who previously did Fire Island, which I really enjoyed from a couple years back. And this is a remake of a 1993 Ong Lee film, which I have not seen. It's one of the few Ong Lee films I have not seen. It's on my list now because I really enjoyed this film. What is The Wedding Banquet about? Let's see. All right. Frustrated with his commitment-phobic boyfriend Chris and running out of time, Min makes a proposal. A green card marriage with their friend Angela in exchange for her partner Lee's expensive IVF. Elopement plans are upended, however, when Min's grandmother surprises them with an extravagant Korean wedding banquet. That makes this movie seem like a kitschy rom-com. And at first, it seems like it's going to be a sort of screwball romantic comedy with an idiot plot. If you don't know what that is, the idiot plot is Roger describes it as the kind of a film that's plot only happens because the characters are either too much of an idiot to figure it out or too much of an idiot to say the one line of dialogue that would solve problems. You think it's going to be that movie. And then something else happens. And the wedding banquet, something deeper starts to form here. And then the wedding banquet becomes kind of great and great and really wise to human nature in regards to relationships among different forms of gender identity and sexual identity, relationships involving how those come against tradition, relationships among friends and lovers and how those can sometimes intersect, all done with humor but also real darkness that it's not afraid to engage with, and real drama that it's not afraid to engage with, and a certain flawed character type that it's not afraid to have all of its characters have at different points. The cast is terrific. Kelly Marie Tran is really good here. Bowen Yang, who also is in Fire Island, great here. Lily Gladstone, once again, terrific. There's this new actor, this relatively new actor. I believe this is his first American film, who plays Bowen Yang's boyfriend in the film. Let me see what his name is. I want to get the gentleman's name. Han Ji Chan. Fantastic. You also got Joan Chen in there, a terrific actress, really good in last year in Didi. And Yoon Yeon Jung, Oscar nominated for her great work in Minari a few years back. All terrific in this film, and they all are real characters that feel really, you know, deeply thoughtful and of a piece with each other. I loved The Wedding Banquet. I thought this was just a really thoughtful film that has a lot more on its mind than I think you might expect from its genre and type of story you think it's going to be telling. And it's terrific. And I want to see the original now. So yeah, The Wedding Banquet. I'm going to also give one of these. Yeah, you see it. Bang. 5 out of 5 stars plus. This is a really, really, really sweet, really wonderful movie that has a lot more on its mind than you might expect. All right. Trailer trash. The Life of Chuck. Talked about it. Looks good. Juliet and Romeo. Oh boy. If there's one thing that doesn't need a Disney-fied pop musical version, it's Romeo and Juliet. And this looks kind of cringe, not gonna lie. Jane Austen Wrecked My Life. Talked about it, looks good. Thunderbolts. Talked about it, looks good. And was there shawarma? No, there was not. All right. Moving on to our next film. Oh boy. Anger Grant time, kids. Sneaks. The other Lawrence Fishburne movie this week. God, is that sad. He's in a good movie this time, The Amateur, but he's also stuck in one of the worst films on this week's show. One of the worst films this year. Sneaks is directed by Rob Edwards, and Christopher Jenkins. Ty, a misguided, one-of-a-kind designer sneaker, doesn't know life outside the comforts of his velvet-lined shoebox. After his sister is stolen by a shady collector, Ty must venture to New York City to find and rescue her. In his adventure, Ty meets a ragtag group of footwear friends from all walks of life who help him find the courage to step outside of his shoebox and find his soul mate. Get it, like soul, like. Multiply that bad joke by about 40, and you have the experience of watching Sneaks, everybody. You know that, okay, think back to that episode of Family Guy, right? There was an episode of Family Guy, was it like season 4, I think it was, where Brian tells Lois that, like, this reminds him of, like, how Disney panders to its audience or something, and it's a fake movie called You da Cow, where it's like these two cows with backwards baseball caps and gold chains going like, "You da cow, man, no, you da cow." That is Sneaks. If it was an actual movie, that bit, if there was no irony, if it wasn't a parody, this is like a fake kids movie you would see in a satire of kids movies. That is this movie. And yet, as a bad movie, that sounds kind of interesting. Here's the biggest problem. Sneaks is hell to sit through. This movie is not only not funny, it's ugly looking. The animation is not very, it's really kind of bad and low budget. The voice cast, which is filled with some people with talent, some people who are not actors. Like Mustard. I love Mustard. He's not a voice actor. But here's the thing, you got people like Anthony Mackie, who is just aw shucks the whole time. He's a great actor. What is he doing here? Martin Lawrence, who sounds like he smoked about 7 joints before he went in front of the camera. He sounds like he's literally narcoleptic. Like, literally, his voice acting is like this, man. Like, what happened to Martin? What? Damn, Gina, what did you do to Martin? Then you got people like Chloe Bailey, aka the less talented Bailey sister, when it comes to like film work. And then you got people like Sam J, who can be really funny, Rico Rodriguez, who can be kind of funny. But then you got other people too, like Lawrence Fishburne and Keith David, who are just there getting a check. Lawrence Fishburne is this evil collector. And here's my biggest issue with the film also. The movie is basically just Toy Story 2. It's the exact same plot. Literally, the Lawrence Fishburne character is Big Al from Al's Toy Barn. It's that character, the guy who steals Woody and puts him with the Roundup gang. That is literally this character, except whereas Toy Story 2 is not only one of the best sequels ever, it's one of the best animated films ever made. Sneaks belongs on a different kind of list. The bad one. This movie's not funny. This movie is also really stereotypical. There's a lot of deep-seated stereotypes. The film wants to be like Spider-Verse, but it isn't Spider-Verse. And it was me and this family were the only 2 people in the theater, and I was bored out of my mind, losing the will to live, quite frankly. It wasn't funny. It was just depressing. It was depressing sitting there watching this and realizing, like, man, people are gonna have to pay upwards of $12.50 to see this movie. It's a ripoff. It's one of those movies that makes you feel like cinema itself has abandoned you for an hour and a half. It's that bad. I hated Sneaks. This was a horrible film. Fuck this movie. I'm giving it the middle finger of kindness because this movie is just 0 stars. Middle finger of kindness. I hated this movie. I hated Sneaks. Go away. Stupid talking shoe movie. Stupid, dumb. What's that line from Extract? Like, oh, Brad. Stupid, dumb Brad. Sneaks. Replace Brad with Sneaks, and that's his movie. Alright. Trailer trash. Smurfs. Doesn't look good. Karate Kid Legends. Talked about it, looks good. The Bad Guys 2. Talked about it, looks good. Elio. Talked about it, looks good. Legend of Ochi. we will be talking about it on this week's show. Juliet and Romeo. Was there shawarma? No, there was not. All right. Moving on to a much better movie that even by the bad box office of Sneaks, probably was seen by even less people than even Sneaks. I know this because I was one of only 2 people in this whole theater, and I'm pretty sure the other guy walked out. Which is a shame. The Ugly Stepsister. The Ugly Stepsister is directed by Amelie Blichfeld. I hope I'm saying that correctly. And this is a Norwegian film. This is a Norwegian language film that's being released by IFC and Shudder. What is The Ugly Stepsister about, you may ask? Well, in a fairy tale kingdom where beauty is a brutal business, Elvira, or Elvira, I believe is how they pronounce it, battles to compete with her incredibly beautiful stepsister, and she will go to any length to catch the prince's eye. So basically, it's Cinderella from the point of view of the ugly stepsister, who, in an ironic twist of fate at the beginning, is really not that ugly. And that's kind of the point. This movie's nuts. In the best possible way. This is a body horror film. And it is like Cronenberg. It's like if David Cronenberg and Coralie Farge had a baby who grew up to be a cinematographer who shot all of Sofia Coppola's movies. That's the best way I can describe it. This movie is it takes a lot to make me wince in a movie. This movie had a couple of scenes that made me actually feel like I was going to throw up. And that's really hard to do. I loved The Ugly Stepsister. This movie is wild. And what I love about it even more, and similar to the Substance last year, it's a movie about how women then and kind of now have to deal with extreme beauty standards that are self-destructive. Like I said at the beginning of this segment of the review, the ugly stepsister Elvira is not that ugly, but she's made to feel that way by the people around her, including her monster of a mother. Like, and to some extent Cinderella too, the equivalent here, Cinderella. She's later called Cinderella as a nickname, but her name is, I think, Agnes. And she's very pretty, but it's like they kind of make her sort of a brat, and then you kind of sympathize with her too. It's a weird dynamic, and as the movie goes on, you kind of are watching somebody self-destruct. And as funny as some of it is, and it has a dark sense of humor, and as horrific as some of it is, it's also kind of tragic. It's a story about like this young woman destroying herself to appeal to the society at large, including her mother. And it kind of breaks your heart. You really feel for this character. And a lot of that has to do with the acting. I want to credit the actors here, particularly the lead. Elvira is played by a young woman named Leah Myron. I believe that's how you pronounce it, who is an actress and a model, I believe. She's phenomenal. She's really good. And she really, I always am a sucker for any actor who really gives all of their physicality to a performance. Just goes in teeth bared into a role. She does. And then this other woman, young woman by the name of Thea Sophie Loch Nass, plays Agnes. Fantastic. And they both are really, really good here. And you sort of see how the dynamics shift. And then also this acknowledgement that the prince is kind of like a Victorian era frat boy, kind of. He likes to pee in bushes and for no, and like chat with his buddies about like his conquests. And it's like, this guy's a dick. Like, why would anybody want to be with this guy? As you know, especially this person who really doesn't need to go through all this trouble for somebody who is like this much of a monster. I love this movie. Like, this is another one that's for the year list. This is a great movie. It's a good week overall. So I'm gonna give The Ugly Stepsister one of these. You see it, bang, 5 out of 5 stars plus for The Ugly Stepsister. Love this movie. Definitely check it out. It's pretty much out of theaters by now. It'll be on Shudder eventually. It is a Shudder co-release. Whatever you have to do, check this movie out. It's very, very good. Definitely worth seeing. Okay. Right. Trailer trash. The Ruse. Looked creepy, but kind of low budget. I don't know. Watch the Skies. Again, looked really creepy, but also low budget. Who's to know? Rosario. We are seeing this. We're going to talk about this on next week's show. This looked creepy. Looks like interesting. Kind of generic, but looks interesting. Thunderbolts. Talked about it. Looks good. We'll also be talking about that on next week's show. The Shrouds. Talked about it. Looks good. Dangerous Animals. Talked about it. Looks good. Common in a Cornfield. Talked about it. Looks good. Hold that thought. And was there Sharma? Yes, there is an after the credits scene. It's very quick, but there is a scene after the credits that is absolutely worth seeing around for. It kind of ties the whole movie together. All right. Moving on. Retro review time, everybody. Pride and Prejudice, the 20th anniversary. Now for a completely different period piece. Pride and Prejudice, the 20th anniversary. It's directed by Joe Wright, a filmmaker who I'm not always the biggest fan of, but in this case, I really was. And this is a 20th anniversary release of the 2005 adaptation of the Jane Austen novel, starring Keira Knightley, Matthew Macfadyen, among, et al. A story of love and life among the landed English gentry during the Georgian era. Mr. Bennet is a gentleman living in Hertfordshire with his overbearing wife and 5 daughters. But if he dies, their house will be inherited by a distant cousin whom they have never met. So the family's future happiness and security is dependent on the daughters making good marriages. Okay, story time. I saw this movie back in 2005. I actually was dragged to it. I was about 11. I was dragged to it by my mother and my sister. And I found myself really getting involved in it when I was 11 and really loving it. I watched it at least one other time in the interim, but it's been a good 15 or so years since I last watched Pride and Prejudice. Saw it again on the big screen for this video when it re-released. It's gotten better with age even more. I love Pride and Prejudice. In fact, Joe Wright is one of those filmmakers that I'm hot or cold with. I loved this movie. I thought this was just... It took this story, it kept the story intact, it kept the setting intact, it kept a lot of the dialogue intact, but there was a modernity to the way it was made, the actor choices, that made this movie more accessible to people. I'll tell you what happened in this movie. There was a power outage. We actually had a tornado while I was watching this movie, about 40 minutes in. We sat there for another 40 minutes waiting for them to turn the movie back on. It's saying something that I was so absorbed that I actually was sitting there waiting for the movie to come back on and was actually willing to go home almost an hour later just to see the rest of the film. Because that's how good Pride and Prejudice is. It gets you involved in the story. It's a really great love story, and it's the kind of movie where if you do it wrong, the dialogue would sound sentimentalized. But Macfadyen and Keira Knightley make this movie great. It's a good family movie. It's rated PG. Take the whole family to it, and I believe it's still out in most theaters. So go see go see the movie that kind of launched Keira Knightley to some extent. Go see Pride and Prejudice. It's fantastic. It's wonderful. Go see it. I'm going to give it one of these. Yeah, you see it. Bang. 5 out of 5 stars plus for Pride and Prejudice. It's delightful. And so many actors who got their start in this movie. Carey Mulligan, Rupert Friend, Jenna Malone. It was an early role for her. So many people. Just too many to name. Rosamund Pike. Like, so many different actors who have now become, like, A-list actors. And, like, well-known character. Tallulah Riley. The freaking Donald Sutherland's in this movie. Brenda Blethyn is in this movie. What a cast. Judi Dench, who is only in the movie for like 15 minutes, but makes the freaking most of it. Because she's Judi damn Dame Dench. It's awesome. One of the best actors ever. I love this movie. So yeah. Pride and Prejudice is back in theaters. Go see it. It's great. It's an easy win for everybody. Alright. Pride and Prejudice. Trailer trash. The Last Rodeo. Talked about it. Looks good. The Legend of Ochi. We will be getting to that moment very relatively soon. Materialist, talked about it, looks good. Juliet and Romeo. Jane Austen directed my life, talked about it, looks good. How to Train Your Dragon, talked about it, looks good but unnecessary. And was there shawarma? No, there was not. All right, onwards and upwards. Next film, Behind the Curtain, Stranger Things: The First Shadow. This was directed by John Halperin. Is that it? Halperin. This is a documentary. What is the film about? Join the cast and crew behind the scenes of Stranger Things: The First Shadow, the award-winning stage play that expands the Hawkins universe. The Netflix series is simply an extension of the Stranger Things universe. The documentary gives viewers a glimpse into the making of the show as it prepares for its West End premiere. The show sold out quickly and received critical acclaim. It won 2 Olivier Awards in 2024. So basically, this is a documentary about the making of the prequel play to the Netflix show Stranger Things. And yeah, it was pretty good. It's on Netflix. It's short, 85 minutes. It's mostly a giant promotion for the play, but the one thing I'll say in its favor is that it makes me kind of want to see the play. They put a lot of effort into it, clearly. It looks great. As a film in and of itself, just for somebody who knows nothing outside of the show, it's the show. It's not essential. It's just kind of a simple, BTS film of this play, but it's good. I enjoyed it. 3.5 stars. It's kind of shallow, but it's enjoyable. 3.5 stars. It's okay. Trailer Trash None. It's on Netflix. Was there shawarma? No, there's not. Moving on. The Legend of Ochi. There we go. Speaking of Stranger Things alumni and films, who've also had movies we reviewed on this list already. In the other case, they directed one of them also. The Legend of Ochi is directed by Isaiah Saxon. It's a music video director making his directorial debut. This is the latest from A24. It's one of their rare family movies. I think it's only their second one after Marcel. What is The Legend of Ochi about? In a remote village on the island of Carpathia, a shy farm girl named Yuri is raised to fear an elusive animal species known as Ochi. But when Yuri discovers a wounded baby Ochi has been left behind, she escapes on a quest to bring him home. I loved this movie. Okay, you know how I said Sneaks is the antithesis of what a good kids movie is? The Legend of Ochi is the definition of what a great kids movie is. This feels like I talked about how Freaky Tales also is the movie that you rent from Blockbuster when you're like a young adult. It's the kind of movie you'd rent from Blockbuster when you're like 7 or 8, and it becomes your favorite like fantasy movie. This is like Willow or something. I loved The Legend of Ochi. I thought this was such a sweet movie. It's sweet. It's funny. Beautifully shot. Amazing world building. A lot of good performances. Finn Wolfhard, pretty decent. But Willem Dafoe, fantastic. Emily Watson, fantastic. Helena Sangel, is that her name? From News of the World, which I loved. News of the World, a really underrated film from a few years back with Tom Hanks. Let me just make sure I got this girl's name right. It's a young actress. Helena Zengel. My apology. Helena Zengel, fantastic. This movie bombed. And that really makes me sad because this is a really good film. I think this movie has like a future family movie cult appeal to it. It's a slow burn. It's not bombastic. It's a simple story. It reminded me a lot of like Where the Wild Things Are and great kids films of that nature. I love this movie. I cannot recommend this movie high enough. It's another absolute winner. Many of The Legend of Ochi, one of these. You see it. Bang. 5 out of 5 stars plus. Again, good movies this week, mostly. Not a lot to complain about this week. Right. Trailer trash. Let's talk some trailer trash. Oh, and also, puppets. All of the creatures in this movie are puppets or animatronics. Perfect. Not a drop of CGI in the bunch. Perfect. I want a baby Ochi. Anyway, How to Train Your Dragon. Talked about it looks good but unnecessary. Karate Kid Legends. Talked about it looks good. The Last Rodeo. Talked about it looks good. Lilo and Stitch. Talked about it looks good. Juliet and Romeo. Was there shawarma? No, there was not. All right. Next movie. 1-to-1, John and Yoko. 1-to-1, John and Yoko is directed by Kevin MacDonald and Sam Rice Edwards. It is a documentary, once again, an exploration of the seminal and transformative 18 months that one of music's most famous couples, John Lennon and Yoko Ono, spent living in Greenwich Village, New York City in the early 1970s. This movie's great. This is maybe my, if not my favorite documentary so far this year, one of the very best documentaries so far this year. This was excellent. Weirdly Moon Age Daydream-esque in the way that it's sort of like a collage film in a way. It's experimental. This film is brilliant in the way that it sort of uses Lennon and Yoko's obsession with television to sort of frame the story. Its archival footage is sort of mixed in. The archival interview footage is mixed in. There's no narration here. It's just kind of the footage sort of tells the story over about hour 40. But what you get is real insight through this footage. I never thought I could really truly care about Yoko Ono outside of a piece of the Beatles story, like as an individual. Until I saw this movie, I really sympathized with her this time. I thought that she really did get kind of the shaft in this situation. She got a pretty raw deal. And I think this movie does a good job of that. I like the fact that it's very political in the way that it deals with that moment from the point of view of these people. And whatever you think of Lennon and Ono, the movie also works as sort of a snapshot of that period in a way that I think is really great. And I think really has value historically as like a record of that period. I love this film. I thought it was fantastic. I'm going to give 1-to-1 John and Yoko. One of these. Bang. 5 out of 5 stars plus. Another one. It's great. Already good year so far. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. They're just trying to sell you something. A lot of good movies out right now. Go see them. All right. Trailer trash. How to Train Your Dragon. Talked about it. Looks good, but not necessary. The Phoenician Scheme. Talked about it. Looks good. Onslaught of Horses. Talked about it. Looks good. F1. Talked about it. Looks good. Thunderbolts. Talked about it. Looks good. 40 Acres. This looks interesting. It has Daniel Dudweiler in it. Looks good. Was there shawarma? No, there was not. All right. Moving on. Getting down to the nitty-gritty now. Sea Lions of the Galapagos. This is the latest film from Disney Nature. It's directed by Hugh Wilson and Keith Schooley. You know, we mentioned earlier the lack of G ratings in the modern film landscape. This movie is rated G, and it's actually pretty good. All right. Follow Leo, a handsome sea lion pup who's learning how to navigate life alongside his mother, Luna. This movie's delightful. So this is the latest from the Disney Nature branch of Disney, which I think is one of the best things Disney has going for it. My biggest issue with a lot of these films, however, is the sort of anthropomorphic nature of it. This film is narrated by Brendan Fraser, who brings a sort of light storybook quality to this film. And I have to say, this is one of Disney Nature's best efforts in regards to keeping the focus sort of on telling the story without too much cutesy Disney material. And it's a really sweet story about this sea lion mother and her sea lion cub, and watching the cub kind of grow into an adult sea lion. And there is sort of a sense of real urgency to it. It's a short film. It's about 82 minutes. It's on Disney Plus. And I would love to see this on the big screen. The footage is beautiful. It kind of stinks that Disney, because of the financial failure of Penguins at the box office, the Disney Nature movies are kind of only going to Disney Plus now, because they're really, no, even the worst one looks beautiful because of the amazing footage they get of these animals. And I really loved this. This is really sweet. And it's a G-rated movie that actually gives that rating a good name. And I can't quite go all the way with it just because it doesn't really have a lot of meat to it. It's very short, but it's, for what it is, it's one of the best examples of what it is. And I'm going to give it 4.5 out of 5 stars. This is a really, really sweet and beautiful visually nature story, nature documentary. Loved it. 4.5 out of 5 stars for Sea Lions of the Galapagos. Let's close the book on it. Trailer Trash None. Watch on Disney Plus. Was there shawarma? Yes. There's behind the scenes footage during the credits. So stick around. Okay, this one is going to be the quickest one. Sneak Peek Showcase. Directed by no credited director. There is no description on Letterboxd because there's no longer a Letterboxd for it. Because of this is just trailers. I'm just going to say it right now. This whole thing is an hour of trailers. And most of them I've already seen. There's no Avatar 3 in there. It's about an hour long. The only things I can really say in its favor is that the tickets were $3 and it's going to the Cinema Foundation. So that's good. And some of the trailers are for movies I want to see, like The Naked Gun, which looks really funny. 2.5 stars. It's trailers. You're paying to see trailers. Trailer Trash None, because the whole thing is trailers. Was there shawarma? No, because there were no credits. It's just trailers with interstitials in between. Go see it, I guess. If it's not even out anymore, but just it's an hour of trailers, people. Next movie, Until Dawn. Now for an actual movie. Kind of. Until Dawn is directed by David F. Sandberg, who I am, again, have a love-hate relationship with. He did Lights Out, which I didn't like. He did Animal Creation, which I did. He did Shazam, which I liked a lot. He did Shazam! Fury of the Gods, which was the first movie that made me want to punch Zachary Levi in the balls. So now we have Until Dawn. This is based on the video game. Kind of. It's in the same universe. I played actually some of this game. It's not really anything like the game other than certain visual images and one character in particular. But it's PlayStation Productions co-produced it. It's a horror film of sorts. What is Until Dawn about? Come on now. What's happening? You've gotta be kidding. Hold on. Stupid. Almost to the end, and then this happens. I know you all want to watch Andor, so do I. I'm trying to wrap this up. Okay, there we go. 1 year after her sister Melanie mysteriously disappeared, Clover and her friends head into the remote valley where she vanished in search of answers. Exploring an abandoned visitor center, they find themselves stalked by a masked killer and horrifically murdered one by one, only to wake up and find themselves back at the beginning of the same evening. It's a time loop horror film. And a pretty good one, actually. I enjoyed Until Dawn. I know it's kind of getting a mixed reception. It's not the game. If you're going in expecting it to be the game, it's not the game. But as an adaptation goes, and as just a movie in and of itself, I enjoyed Until Dawn. I thought it was kind of fun. It takes on horror tropes with a little bit of a sense of humor. The time loop angle's great. I was quite taken with the lead, this actress named Ella Rubin. I realize I've basically seen everything she's been in, but she's only ever played small parts. She was in The Rewrite, which was a really underrated Hugh Grant film. She played Anne Hathaway's daughter in The Idea of You, which I liked quite a bit. She had like a blink and you'll miss it part as the sister of the title character in Anora, the Best Picture winner from last year, which of course was my number 3, I think, of the year altogether. It was on my best of list. She's been out there. This is her first leading role. She's really good. And, pretty, which helps. But she's also really good. And there's some people I recognize in there. Odessa Zion, really good. I really liked Michael Cimino, not to be confused with the director. Victor from Love, Victor is in this. And he's sort of the love interest, I guess, of the Ella Rubin character. So that's really, really good. It has fun with the tropes. It has just enough of a sense of humor about itself. It's inventive. I like the fact that every night something new is trying to kill them, and it's something kind of from a different subgenre of horror. There's like a monster kind of thing at one point. There's sort of a body horror, like parasite element, parasitic monster body horror element. There's mass killers. There's clowns. that was kind of fun. And I liked that they sort of used the subtle differences in each night to kind of make it so that there is a sense of tension and like you cannot escape. And that is kind of fun. Um, yeah, I enjoyed Until Dawn. This was a fun flick. I'm going to give it 4.5 out of 5 stars. This is a lot better than I was expecting. And I do think it's worth checking out. So yeah, definitely thumbs up for that one. Trailer trash. Let's talk some trailer trash. All right. Together, talked about it looks good. The Venetian Scheme, talked about it looks good. Juliet and Romeo. Megan or Mithrigan 2.0 looks so much fun. The Naked Gun, yay! That OJ joke though, come on, that's great. Thunderbolts, talked about it looks good. I Know What You Did Last Summer. Please be good. 28 years later, talked about it looks good. Was there shawarma? No, there was not. All right. Next movie. Pink Floyd at Pompeii, 1972. In Roman numerals. Pink Floyd at Pompeii, 1972 is directed by Adrian Mabin. And it is kind of a re-release, kind of a recut, kind of. I believe this plot description applies to the original version, but it's really not that much of a difference, I don't think. So let's get into it. British progressive rock band Pink Floyd performs at the ancient Roman amphitheater in the ruins of Pompeii, Italy in 1971. Although the band perform a typical live set from the era, there is no audience beyond the basic film crew. Yeah, that basically is it. It's cool. It's Pink Floyd. I will say this. Biggest issue with the film. And this is my first time watching any version of this. It was in IMAX. Seeing Pink Floyd in IMAX at all is worth. It's gonna get a thumbs up just for that. The ruins were great. I liked the visual style of it, the editing of it. The set list was not my favorite. I think that there's really no Dark Side of the Moon here. There's no Another Brick in the Wall here. It's a lot of like the also rans kind of in the filmography in the discography of Pink Floyd. That being said, there are some joyful moments here. I like watching them just eating breakfast and shooting the shit, I forget which member really wanting pie without crust for some reason becomes kind of a good running gag. The setting is really cool. I like the Pompeii ruins and kind of how they're used spatially. Music is, good. I'm not saying that the songs are bad. They're just not my favorite. The experience makes it worth it, and it makes it low one of these. Yeah, bang, 5 out of 5 stars. If you're a fan, it's worth seeing. It's just, I think I've seen better Pink Floyd concerts than this, but I liked it. So yeah, big ups. I can see why it's so influential. Moving on. Oh wait, hold on. Trailer trash. I saw this in a theater, right? Trailer trash. Did we have any? No, we didn't. Okay, so no trailer trash. Was it shawarma? Yes, there was some during the credits. All right. Next movie, Havoc. Havoc is directed by Gareth Evans. This is his first American documentary. An American action film following the one-two punch of The Raid Redemption and its sequel, The Raid 2, both of which were awesome. Equally so. Two of the best action movies ever. Havoc isn't quite that, but it's actually still pretty good. So what is Havoc about? Other than punch, punch, kick, kick, which is all I really think it's about. What is Havoc about? When a drug heist swerves lethally out of control, a jaded cop fights his way through a corrupt city's criminal underworld to save a politician's son. That is a clothesline to say basically Tom Hardy kicks ass with very visceral, brutal gunplay and fight scenes, edited and shot and cut together by the man who gave us the Raid movies, and for what it is, a bunch of action sequences. It's awesome. I really enjoyed it. Is it deep? No. Is it a story that is familiar? Yes. Did it deserve to kind of sit on a shelf somewhere for like 3 years? No. This movie's awesome. This movie's really exciting. And considering how often Netflix just kind of shits out content, this feels like a real action film. This feels like it has some art to it, some, personality to it. Tom Hardy's fun. Forrest Whitaker's fun as well. Timothy Olyphant. It works. It's a solid, exciting, brutal action film. And on that basis, I'm going to give it 4.5 out of 5 stars. It's not The Raid. It's not on that level, but it's really good. Very few things are. It's very good. So there you go. 4 to 5 stars. 4.5 out of 5 stars, rather, for Havoc. So let's book on it. Trailer trash, none. Watch it on Netflix. Was there shawarma? No, there was not. All right. Next movie. Cheech and Chong's last movie. This is directed by David L. Bushell. I believe this is his feature directorial debut. What is Cheech and Chong's last movie about? It's a documentary. What is it about? Exploring their 5-decade career performing stand-up, making records, and starring in hit films, it covers their lives, comedy partnership, and lasting influence on pop culture. Those people being Cheech Marin and Tommy Chong, aka Cheech and Chong. I loved this. This was hilarious. They're funny. This is basically a retrospective mixed with a road movie. And I think that both sides work. This is a movie that is slightly over 2 hours and yet never feels its length because there's an energy to it. It's funny. There's a warmth to it. The two men are great. And what's even better is I saw this with Ryan. It kind of got us wanting to revisit the Cheech and Chong movies. Like we went to the mall like the next day, and Ryan like bought up whichever Cheech and Chongs they had at the store, like Cheech and Chong movies. And that's what this movie serves a purpose for. It's funny, it's a victory lap, but it's also deals with real issues in the duo's sort of relationship, both professionally and personally. And it's done with a certain sort of scrappy charm that is reminiscent in the filmmaking. It's a low budget film, but it's kind of that's of a nature similar to the Cheech and Chong movies themselves. And I really loved it. It was just a really sweet movie, good company, good story, well told, funny. And I'm going to give it, again, it's a low one. I'm going to give it one of these. Bang. 5 out of 5 stars for Cheech and Chong's last movie. If you're a fan, don't miss it. It's really good. So yeah, you don't even have to be Blaze to enjoy it. You can come straight to this movie. Okay, trailer trash. Let's talk some trailer trash. The Phoenician Scheme. Talked about it. Looks good. 28 years later. Talked about it. Looks good. The Surfer. Talked about it. Looks good. We'll be reviewing it next week. Hurry Up Tomorrow. Talked about it. Looks good. This is Spinal Tap. The 41st anniversary. I cannot wait. We're also getting a sequel this year. I cannot wait. I love This is Spinal Tap. Jurassic World Rebirth. Talked about it. Looks good. And was there shawarma? Yes, during and at the end of the credits, so stick around for it. All right. Next movie. Next, our penultimate movie for this week's show. And it's retro review time, everybody. Happy Gilmore. Happy Gilmore's back in theaters. Did you guys know? Because the sequel's coming out. I believe it's only been 29 years since it first came out, but early 30th anniversary, I guess. So, what is Happy Gilmore? Happy Gilmore is directed by Dennis Dugan. What is the film about? Well, in case you didn't already know, failed hockey player turned golf whiz Happy Gilmore, whose unconventional approach and antics on the green courts the ire of rival Shooter McGavin, great name, is determined to win a PGA tournament so he can save his granny's house with the prize money. Meanwhile, an attractive tour publicist tries to soften Happy's image. Okay. I know that Adam Sandler has his wins and his losses. I know that I'm a bit of an apologist for Mr. Sandler, but I have to say, even as somebody who generally likes the guy, revisiting Happy Gilmore, it's been a while since I last watched Happy Gilmore. It was me and Ryan, we're the only ones in the theater. It is easily maybe Sandler's best comedy, like straight comedy he's ever done. And there really is not a moment in this movie where I wasn't at least kind of chuckling at it. And watching it again, I realized there's really not a lot of fat on this movie. It's short. It's like 90 minutes. And there really isn't a moment where you're not at least close to giggling at it. And then there's a few moments in this movie where I don't just laugh. It like hurts. There's a couple scenes in particular. One of them is now famous, involving a certain cameo. You know which one it is. Other one is And yes, it is Sandler being angry. And yes, in the real world, this person needs to be locked up. He's psychotic. But in the context of this movie that is clearly not set in any kind of recognizable reality, it is a world of absurdist humor. This movie's hilarious, and it's funny, and it's weird, and it's offbeat. Little things like, okay, the crocodile and the coach in the little fantasy sequence, waving at them in the afterlife. Okay, that would be funny enough. But then Abraham Lincoln's just there for no reason. And why is Abraham Lincoln there? Because randomly having Abraham Lincoln is weirder and therefore funnier. That's the mentality this movie is going for, and it works. And like that's I think the secret to this movie. It's just it knows it's a silly movie that is in a silly universe, and I really like that about it. And I'm glad I got to see this on the big screen, and I got to see this again for the first time in a while. I love Happy Gilmore. It's funny. It's great. And for what it is, it's one of these. Bang, 5 stars plus for Happy Gilmore. If you haven't seen it, go see it. Even if you're a Sandler hater, trust me, this one's funny. It's weirdly holds up too. I have to say, for a movie that's almost 30 years old, this movie is aged pretty nicely, actually. All right. Trailer trash. Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. Talked about it, looks good. F1 talked about it, looks good. Thunderbolts talked about it, looks good. Megan or Mithrigan 2.0 talked about it, looks good. Jurassic World Rebirth talked about it, looks good. Now, the final film. It's an early review, everybody. You've been wondering now for 2 weeks what the mystery review this week is going to be. Sorry. Clown in a Cornfield. Clown in a Cornfield is directed by Eli Craig. This is his third feature after 2 previous horror comedies, Tucker and Dale vs. Evil, which I loved, and Little Evil, which I also really liked. So what is Clown in a Cornfield about? It's also based on a novel. What is Clown in a Cornfield about? Quinn and her father have just moved to the quiet town of Kettle Springs, hoping for a fresh start. Instead, she discovers a fractured community that has fallen on hard times after the treasured Baypen corn syrup factory burned down. As locals bicker amongst themselves and tensions boil over, a sinister, grinning figure emerges from the cornfields to cleanse the town of its burdens, one bloody victim at a time. Okay, so you know how earlier I mentioned how Hell of a Summer was all right, but it kind of failed to really skewer its targets in regards to like slasher movies. Clown in a Cornfield is the movie that did it right, and it's Canadian also. I love Clown in a Cornfield. Is this movie deep about the human condition? No, but it's a lot smarter than you might expect. In that it's a really underneath its slashings and its laughs, it's very much a slasher comedy. There is this genuine satire of how the traditionalism of an older and, let's be real, more conservative generation kind of would rather kill its young than let it have its own identity and life within a community. And that's kind of the satire of this movie. It works. The the lead is really good. It's as funny as it is bloody, and it's very bloody, and it's very funny. Will Sasso has a nice little supporting role as a possibly corrupt sheriff. It's the dad from Children Ruin Everything is the dad in this also, which is nice seeing him in a movie, I guess. And he's really funny as her dad is kind of dorky doctor who sort of struggling to connect with his teenage daughter. This movie's really good, and I hope people go to see it. It's coming out May 9th, so it's a low budget, Canadian production, but go see Clown in a Cornfield. It's really good. Apparently, the novel has 2 sequels. I kind of want them. This was really funny. It's not at all what you expect. There's twists and turns here, and there's some big laughs here. Really love this film. We're ending it on a strong note in a week that's been almost all strong notes with a few duds there. I'm going to give Clown in a Cornfield, bang, 5 stars plus. Another one. Yes, another one. Hiya. DJ, we make the best movies. DJ Khaled. All right. Yeah, 5 stars plus for Clown in a Cornfield. Go see it. It opens May 9th. Trailer trash. I know what you did last summer. Please don't suck. Final Destination Bloodlines. Talked about it. Looks good. 28 years later. Talked about it. Looks good. And with that, we end this week's episode. We will be back next week for reviews for Hit the Third Case, Thunderbolts, Rosario, The Surfer, and a mystery review, as well as another Simple Favor, the sequel to A Simple Favor, starring Anna Kendrick and Blake Lively. That's coming as we kick off the summer movie season next week on Weekend Popcorn. Thank you all. Till next time, take care. I'll see you next week for episode 5. Bye. Bye. Love you guys. Like, subscribe, do all the things. Thank you.